Welcome to the ONG Strike Zone. Bryan Fulford, Kelvin Rozier.
And what up, yo?
Sippin on some. Yeah, boy. Ain't nothing like going into the sip and coming out with a couple dubs, baby. That's what I'm talking about. Not one, but two wins in the sip by our men's basketball team. Yeah. Gotta love that feeling, boy. Gotta love that feeling. How you doing tonight, Kay?
I'm just honored to be in the presence, and the fact that you let me even be on the show with you, man. I'm very humbled, man. And same with the listening audience. You know, a little country boy like myself, man. Been having this platform, man. I'm humbled. I'm glad to be here.
Man, look, we got a loaded show for you tonight, folks, man. This is a fun show. It always feels better when you not only get wins on the road, but when you go into Jackson, when you go into the SIP and come out with wins. And it's been real quiet out there in them streets. Kev, you notice that? You notice that?
I love it, man. The way it's supposed to be.
It's quiet.
Shut up, knuckleheads.
I don't know what the rest of y'all, I hope y'all Rattler Nation, I hope y'all enjoyed it. You know, it's 2025. We let them have the end of 2024, but 2025, we come in screaming and kicking, letting them know.
Water.
Man. Yeah, get drink up, folks. We got a loaded show for you tonight. Very excited about tonight's show. Great guest list. Hopefully you saw all the announcements, man. Busting my tail, try to put the word out and let people know. Coming up here very shortly, we're going to be joined by our head men's basketball coach, Coach Pat Crarey. Then at the bottom of the hour, baseball season is right around the corner. So we're going to talk to Coach Shouppe and get his thoughts. The schedule is available. It's out. I haven't seen the visuals yet, but it's out. So we'll talk about the 2025 baseball season. Some interesting games, matchups during the course of the season, as well as a new format in the SWAC. So we will talk about that. Then at the top of hour 2, we talked to Coach G, Coach Garfield Ellenwood II. He's going to come in. Man, he got a couple of sprinters, Kay. Woo. They running right up there with some big dogs, some like Olympic medalists.
Well, you got to remember, Bryan, you know, he ain't new to this. He true to this. He's 2-time SWAC champion, so he doing what he do.
Yes, indeed. And then at the bottom of hour 2, our AD gave us a call. She hit us up on the back line, didn't she, Kate? And it was like, I need to come on the show. I was like, oh, hold on. The AD said so we had to move a couple things. We might not get on hey, look, when AD Suggs calls, we listen. And coming up at the bottom of hour 2, VP of Intercollegiate Athletics, Mrs. Angela Suggs is coming on the show, folks. So a lot of news happening among Rattler Nation. Hey, I know we usually do shout outs around this time, but look, I got to shout this out because EA knows. Now, EA swears. He say, look, I cannot confirm or deny that was me, EA, but it sounds like it could have been me. That's all I'm going to say. That's all I'm gonna say, Kay. You know, it could have been me. It could have been me. That's all I'm gonna say.
And I will just say I suck in that.
Amen to that. So yeah, shout out to all of you, Rattler Nation. Thank you for all joining us. Everybody in the chat rooms, make sure you're following the show on Instagram, on Facebook, on YouTube. Whether you're following us at ONG StrikeZone. We say hello to everybody. You might be following us on the Jericho Broadcast Network's YouTube page at MyJBN online. And, of course, the Black College Sports Network. We are a part of the Black College Sports Network. Yeah. So I'm not going to be long, but I am just going to flash the scores up. Can I flash the scores, Kay? Can I flash them up?
Absolutely.
Can I flash them?
I represent
the scores up. I just got to put that out there. As we went out to Alcorn, to Lorman, Mississippi, my good friend Charles Edmond, of course, who did the show with me on Sunday, man, boy, he was down. He was down. But he called that game a great game on the SWAC Digital Network, as FAMU in the second half was down 20 points with about 14-something to play.
Yep.
And battled their way back over a course of about a 9-minute stretch to go up by 2. And they really had to fight a little bit down the stretch. Alcorn is a good ball club. But we held on to 65-64 victory on Saturday, and then turned around on Monday and went into hostile territory, into the Tigers' den. They told me on Sunday, Kay, they swore. They were like, oh, y'all not coming to the Tigers' den with that foolishness. Okay. FAMU was down maybe about 7 or 8. Actually, we had a lead at the half, got down by about 7 or 8 in the second half, and did what we do. Just stormed back, hit some shots, made some big plays inside, walked in their trap, and just took their strikes and came out with a 72-62 win for our 4th consecutive win in the SWAC, 2nd consecutive win on the road. Woo! Team is starting to look good right now, okay?
Hey, we're tied for 4th place right now in the SWAC standings. Mm-hmm. And one of the losses was early against Southern, who's undefeated still. And Texas Southern, they're the 2 teams that have longer winning streaks currently than us, with 7 and 6. And then it's FAMU with 4 wins in a row. So we cooking, baby.
We are. Oh, you got jokes, Edwin. You're funny. We've always embraced our AD. Our AD. I'm just gonna say it like that. All right. So without further ado, let's bring on our head coach, the head coach of the men's basketball program, Coach Patrick Crarey. Coach Pat, what's good, sir? Welcome back to the O&G Strike Zone.
Thanks for having me back. Good to be back in Tallahassee where the weather is warm. It's cold out there. It's cold out there on the road, man. It's cold.
Yeah, not just outside. And sometimes it can be in those environments as well. Shout out to the Mississippi Rattlers, our good friend Derek. Derek and the Mississippi Rattlers, man. I know they showed you guys a lot of love. I saw some of the pictures and video. So let's get into it. And Coach, we even got some video, but let's start with the Alcorn game. Let's just talk about coming off of the 2 wins at home and then having to go on the road. What was the message to the team as you're heading into Alcorn and Jackson?
Oh, the big thing with the coming off the 2 wins, we had that weather. Remember that weather? That weather messed us up because we were off on Tuesdays, and then Wednesday we couldn't practice.
Yep.
And so we missed a day. And with these, it's the SWAC is tough. Saturday, Monday, you need those 3 days. You need that Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. It's like preparing for football. Imagine you're preparing for a football game. You have a day off, like an extra day off. It's gonna mess with you. And so, I think that was clear, evident in the first half, just in our inability to defend and make shots. I mean, like, Alcorn is one of the lowest shooting teams in the league. Right now, we're number 1 in the league in 3-pointers made per game. And I know everybody's saying go inside, like we are, but we're still number 1 in the league in 3-pointers made. And so in that game, Alcorn made 8 in the first half, and we had made 0. So we told our guys at halftime, like, they're not going to make 8 in the second half. And we're damn sure not about to make 0. So calm down, defend, move the ball, we'll be fine. And we were able to pull it out and end with some really, really good defense. Our defense has been good. This 4-game streak, our defense has been really good. Something that nobody really talks about because we might not play as much pressure as other teams play. But if you look at it, the last 3 games, 35%, 36%, 39%. So 3 teams straight under 40%. And we're supposed to be a finesse team. So I think we're doing a good job being tough.
Yeah, I agree. Go ahead, Kay.
Coach, you mentioned the impact of the missing those games, and then with Alcorn, you're down, double digits. Even with 15 minutes left, you're down 20 points. What happened in those last 10 minutes of that when we went on that run? I know is you make shots and you don't make shots sometimes, but just in your eyes, what did you see happen that got us back in that game?
We buckled down defensively, got in transition, just got us some quick baskets. And then one of the big subs we had, Miles Hall, it just shows the evolution of our team. Miles Hall not really playing all year, and he comes in, and it was the question of who we go to, and we went to him quick. He came off, played some really good defense, had 2 assists and that layup. I think that took some pressure off of us. And then we got Sterling off the ball some, and Sterling was able to get some shots going. When Sterling gets going, sorry for you. Sorry that you don't got Sterling. So, Sterling and Milton made the key threes. We had some ATOs. We really executed on our ATOs when we really needed to. Something we've been working on a lot. You see Milton on the screen right now. Those transition threes and offensive rebounds. Rod was so good all night. Rod had 7 offensive rebounds. People talk a lot about Coffee. Nobody talks about his ability to offensive rebound and defensively, what he's done to guards and what he's done to people, being a 6'4", like point forward type. So, really excited about our guys and how they're competing and how they're just kind of finding their roles now. We're finding into it.
So, Coach, to add to that, then, what is it going to take moving forward? We're on a 4-game win streak. We got everybody's attention now. We're back at home. We got to defend the home turf. How do you keep your team focused and working to, continue this streak? What it's going to take?
We're all about growth process here. So we got it with our players as well, of just continuing the process of them getting better and growing. When we beat Alcorn, it was, if you want to be good, and that was a good win, but if you want to be good and you want to be respected, you got to win at Jackson. And so now you're coming back home, you're back in a situation you've never been. We didn't win. I don't think we had did we have a road win? We had 1 road win last year on the road, and we had, and we haven't come home off of 2 wins, and I don't know how long it's been in conference. So it's a new feeling, but your buy-in has to turn up even more. Your understanding of what possessions you have to get better at. And I think for us, we've really grown because we worked at some specific things at practice that guys have embraced, that they've liked. As a coaching staff, we've gone to those things that they've liked, they're getting better at, they liked in their development on both sides of the ball. So now that they see it, they want it more. So you can see us now just hungrier to communicate, hungrier to make certain reads on the floor, to work together and really focus on the execution. A couple of guys made some mistakes today on some execution, and they were pissed off. Usually they're just like, whatever, I'm gonna make an excuse, but they were mad at themselves for not knowing what knowing what to do. So, winning either makes you soft or makes you tougher, and I think for us, it's just giving us a higher level of focus to really be the team that, I thought we could be all along.
Okay. Coach, let me ask one of the things that, as I watched this game and then even the Jackson game. Now, I know, Coach Bussey's teams are known for playing hard defensively, but I mean, look, I know we defend hard, but damn, Jackson and Alcorn, they defend hard. It looked like, talk a little bit about is that we look comfortable dealing with that? Is that because of what we do, what you do in practice that makes them comfortable, or is it just the level of skill from the guys that we have?
I think it's a couple things. Our first year in the league, so just understanding how things are. The biggest difference, I think, between lower level Division I and then like Division II and NAI from an officiating standpoint is what they allow you to do from a physicality standpoint. And so we didn't do it early on in practice because, we just that's not how I play defense. You know, it's not. I'm very focused on the NBA. So like, I do a lot of things NBA based. I think it's the highest level of the game of basketball. They spend the most money on basketball. That being said, you know, knew we had to play more physical. You know, especially on the perimeter. And so I think those coaches are just used to knowing what they can get away with, because I just didn't know. And that's just the novice in me of not having the experience on the level. But also, I mean, if you're gonna hug us like that, and we got shooters, okay, if we beat you, bro, you're not gonna help. So we're gonna be at the rim, and if you do help, you better hope we miss. So, you know, I think that's probably the difference. And then everybody has their own philosophy on how they play and how they do certain things. You know, both of the coaches that we just went against are just two of the better coaches in the league. I mean, Bussy, 2-time coach of the year. And then I told Mo before the game, I thought he runs the best offensive action of any team in the league. I just do. I just think he's hard to prepare for. All the things that they run out of the same formations. He runs a really pro-style offense, and it was difficult to deal with, difficult to scout. You know, we wanted to make sure I told him that before the game.
You mentioned from a defensive perspective, you play a lot of man. I believe most coaches like playing a little man, playing a lot of man. Most coaches do. Is that primarily your philosophy? I know you saw Bussy and Coach Mo. They do a lot of full court stuff. How would you describe your defensive philosophy in general? You touched on it a little bit, but for the layman out there, what's it look like?
We're very schematically based. So if you look at what we've done to people's best players, I mean, we try to take away your top guys. And one thing we've done a better job with is working with just the other guys. You know, I think that hurt us early on. Just some of the other guys getting involved. The Bethune game, Wallaby. You know, I don't think he scored 10 points since that game, and he had 4 threes in that game for I think 15 or 12 or 15 points. So we've done a better job of working on the other guys, really containing you and making every shot difficult. We don't want to give up anything easy. If you're going to score, you got to run your stuff. So, you know, everybody's philosophy is different. They can say what's right or wrong or who's that or that. You know, I like what we do. I would like for us to give some more pressure and create some more turnovers than we have. And that's my job, to make sure I'm getting the guys better and, you know, getting deflections and putting us in different areas. We'll look at some zone and some other things schematically. But we're also going to go with what's comfortable and what's the best situation for our team. It's a long season. We're not even at the halfway point of league play yet. So
right.
We've been able to add a lot of things offensively and defensively already. And to me, like, the league is where you get to really, you know, like we had practice today and we're going over different actions. And I'm like, damn, I just love this. Like, I love the conference. I love the chess match. I love the game. Like, I love, like, okay, we got to do something new. Or they do this, we're going to do this. You know, I love it. Like, that's real coaching to me. And it's what I love to do.
Is it as your own? I mean, again, we're only 7 games in. Like you mentioned, we're not even at the halfway point. You haven't seen everybody twice. Is the conference starting to shake? And we've probably played, I mean, now we haven't played Texas Southern yet, but with the exception of Texas Southern, we have played probably, well, this weekend included. We'll talk about this weekend coming up. But I think we played half of the upper level teams that are going to be in the mix in the end. Man, is the conference what you thought it would be, or is it kind of exceeded your expectation?
I mean, I knew it was going to be tough. You know, you got 12 teams, you know, 12 Division I head coaches and a bunch of guys on scholarship. I knew it was going to be tough. And I thought we battled, especially where we were from a health standpoint at the beginning of conference play, you know, being without Washington. And I've talked about Jordan Chapman a million times and what he means to our team. And you guys got to really see what's happening with – I told y'all – there's a reason why I called Washington. I mean, hey, I'm trying to tell you. I know everybody. I know it's tough. It's tough. You know, you tell where is it? No, he's got it. And so I'm seeing him healthy, and then really, you know, been able to communicate with the guys and figure him out with certain lineups was really good to see. You know, to have him out there and play at a high level. So yeah, the conference is what I expected, and I'm just excited about us that we are, at this point in time, continue to grow. And that's the big thing. You want to grow during this time. I feel like a lot of teams, you know, they can peak. You can peak, you know. You want to be good all season. Don't get it twisted. But you don't want to peak too early. And I think for us, we're just scratching the surface on some things that we could do. And then that's what I'm excited about as the head coach.
I thought Jadarius Eatman and Charles, talk a little bit about their impact, because as you watch a lot of these clips, I just find that their ability especially against a former Rattler there over at Jackson in this game was such a huge plus, because he was there. Obviously when you take threes, there's going to be long rebounds or there might be some off misses, but he just seemed to be there in the right spot at the right time almost every play here in the second.
That's talent. I mean, he's really good. He's really good. I mean, we had some conversations during the game. I mean, he's really good. I mean, what can I tell you? I mean, he's really good, But I thought our guys, those two especially did a lot of good things running the floor. I don't know if you saw them running the floor. We've been working on them on just like ball screens. They're doing a really good job on ball screens now. And then they're becoming better passers. Muff has always been a really good passer. But JD is working. Look how JD's running the floor on this clip. Like, he's gone. Like, he's already gone. So putting that pressure on the back end, and then defensively, they're always there to communicate defensively. And JD's the best communicator that we have on the team. And he communicates, gets in our right spots, calls out the ball screen coverage, who's on tag, what play we're running based on out of bounds. It's been really good to see their growth. And all the bigs are really close. They're really close. So I love this play from JD with the cut and the finish. I mean, we went crazy.
Oh, I see. Had a couple people. How was the crowd? Because sometimes I know the Jackson State fans, boy, they love to give it to FAMU, and especially I have never had the pleasure of being in at a basketball game there. But what was the atmosphere like?
Fun. I mean, great fans, real basketball fans, know the game, into the game, cheering. Physical. It was fun. I mean, I like it. I like the road. You know what I'm saying? Like, I like that we play well at home. But the road gives you a little bit of edge, and I thought that they had great support. The people in the front row, the people behind me. I mean, Ashley has done a fabulous job with their program, their AD. So I mean, they had these pamphlets out. It was just top-notch service. It was always fun when you win the game. But I know, I mean, I see the headlines. I see the Jackson State versus, FAMU stuff online all the time. So I knew it was a big game for our alumni. But it was fun. I mean, it is a fun place to play. And they have really good fans. I mean, them and Alcorn have really good fans.
Yeah.
Guys, I'm not supposed to say it, but we got to get better here.
Okay.
We got to get better here. Like, waiting. Everybody wants to wait and see. What are you waiting for? Like, we haven't had a winning season in 17 years. Get to the gym.
Preach.
Like,
say it.
Here, like, say something. Like, come on, man. Like, these guys are. If you guys knew the stuff that we have to go through on the road, in terms of the communication that we get from the fans, referees, how hard it is. You come home and it's like,
we need to give it back. We need to give it back.
Not enough.
We need to give it back.
It's not enough. And it shouldn't be based upon results or merits. So a lot of people came to the Bethune game. We didn't win the Bethune game. We played hard against Bethune. They're a good team.
I agree. Yeah.
And so I expect this place to be crazy this weekend. And that's what it should be. That's the standard. The standard should not be based upon what is on the floor. I heard that when we had 7 terrible football seasons, it was packed for every game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So there shouldn't be an excuse on why we can't get basketball done. I want to see more people at the basketball game, and that's really what I'm gonna say. And I want to see more people. I'm not really gonna dwell on it. But we need it, and I know. I mean, you're good for 6 or 7 points. These are hard games to win.
All right.
Yeah.
Hard.
Well said. So Saturday, February 1st, 6:00, we take on Alabama A&M. Of course, that's a double. Women at 4, men at 6, and then Alabama State on Monday, 7 p.m. one of the things I noticed about them, and we don't want to give too much press clippings to our folks in Bama, but I do know that they shoot. I thought we shot the ball from outside, but I looked at the numbers. Hey, right there with us, they sit at number either 1 and 2 or 2 and 3, right there with us. Not only in 3-point shot attempts, but in 3-point makes. What's your thoughts on, as loosely as you can give it, about what we're going to look at this upcoming weekend against Alabama A&M and Alabama State?
A&M is the biggest team in the league. Like, they'll start like 6'6" through 7 foot, like 6'6", 6'5", 6'7", 6'8", 7 foot. And then they bring their little guards off the bench, so like they're tough. They're tough. I don't think, when you look at their schedule, they played everybody tough. They had some overtime losses. You could easily flip them to 4-3, 5-2, easy, based upon some of the close games they've had. They're well coached, but they're so versatile. I think that's what makes them a tough matchup for everybody. They can be versatile defensively, and they can be versatile offensively. They have one of the better guards in the league. I mean, he is a bucket. And then, Moody was first team all-conference for a reason. He can play. And they're big, number 7 at A&M. Like, he's like a hybrid, like what you want in basketball now, like a wing big. Like, he's 7 feet, but he can switch and he can lob threat. He can dunk. He can pass. He throws good DHOs. Like, he's tough. Like, his numbers aren't crazy, but like, we're going to get somebody like him next year. I can believe that. Like, he's what I'm looking for to add to our team, in the future. So, they're tough, well coached, very good team. And then you got Alabama State, who probably had the best non-conference wins outside of Southern. I think they beat Omaha, which is like 8-0 in the Summer League. They beat them earlier in the year. And then, they would arguably have the trio of the best guards in the league. I mean, that's what they're going to say between the 3 guys. I like our guys, but they're right there. I mean, CJ Hines is a former NAI player. I know him and his family very well. He's very good. The number 1 kid is tough. And then the coach's son, I mean, he's built like a linebacker playing the wing. Like, he's huge, like 6'3", but he's, they play a great style of play. I love the way they play. I would kind of say, I really compare us as like we play a similar style. So, I really like, what they've done with their team. They shoot the ball very well. So I think that'll be a fun, exciting game to watch. I don't know about, there's some old timers that think we just too many threes out there, but I mean, it is what it is. You want us to go inside and play 3 out, 2 in, and have 2 7-footers. That's dead. Not happening. Number 1 team in the league, Southern, they only play 1 big. So, I think it'll be a fun game. I think it'll be 2 tough teams to play against. I do like how we play at the crib, though. I do. I think we have a high level of confidence at the crib. We have a great facility, and AD Suggs has done a great job with working on the atmosphere to make it the best it can be.
Mm-hmm. Okay, you got anything here before we wrap up with Coach?
No, man. I'm just looking forward to this weekend. I would definitely be in the house and with a couple of other folks, and I'll be cheering, and I'm looking forward to it.
And one thing, we took care of Jackson State without 2 key players. As much as you can tell us, how is their condition? The 2 guys that didn't play against Jackson.
Yeah, they're working daily, so we'll just keep them monitoring them, as time goes on. But we're working with them daily to try to get them right. And we're just kind of day to day with everything we have. And the last thing I'm gonna say, and I'm just gonna leave it at this: as we have support, for our team and our players, I really need Rattler Nation to focus in on supporting our players. It's tough out here for our players. Guys that don't know, like, we're not allowed in the gym from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. for classes. So if they want to work out, they got to come before 7 to 9. We don't have a crazy nutritional thing set up for them to eat and everything else. They're not dealing with NIL or sometimes people talk about our players as if they're professional athletes. If they were making $100K, I understand, but they're not. and they're working out here for the university, doing their best they can be. So Rattler Nation, if there's any shots that are taken about the team, you can talk about me. I'm 41. I'm fine. I'm strong enough in my skin. I understand what I need to do as a professional. But if Rattler Nation, if you really support Rattler Nation, you need to keep it about positivity with these kids and support them and push them forward to help the program grow. Anything less than that is unacceptable in my mind. These are kids. Like, support them.
Amen. Cannot disagree with you more there, Coach. So hey, again, Rattler Nation, just want to remind everybody again, Saturday, it's a big home weekend. I mean, the women start on Thursday night, tomorrow night against Alabama State. Then on Saturday, we've got the Alabama A&M doubleheader, and then on Monday night, the men take on Alabama State. I even saw something, Kelvin. I saw the flyer. We retweeted it. I think a free opportunity for local high school students, 18 and under, to come to the game free. I mean, hey, we talk about the 850 coming and represent. I mean, don't wait. It's over. Get on the train now. I mean, get on the bus now. Get on it early. Don't wait. Now's the time to come out and support Rattler basketball. Our women are hot. Our men are hot. And we're playing good basketball, men and women. So now's the time to get out and support. Coach, I appreciate the words. Congrats on the win. Hopefully everybody stays healthy, and we look forward to being in the house on Saturday and, well, Thursday, Saturday, and Monday. Looking for a great weekend of basketball, Coach.
Thank you, man. Fangs up. See y'all in Lawson.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Coach.
Appreciate you, Coach.
Later.
All right. Awesome stuff, man. Awesome stuff. Appreciate any last words there regarding this upcoming we'll talk more about the women coming up here a little bit later in the show. Anything you want to add, Kelvin, before we hit our first break and transition from the court to the baseball field?
No, Coach has issued a charge to Rattler Nation to show up.
Yes, he did.
And be vocal, give us a home court advantage. And you know, like I know, Bryan, when we were in school, you did not want to play in Gaither.
No, you did not.
So no losses in Lawson. We got to start the hashtag back.
Yes, indeed. We need the snake pit to come back like it used to be. That's what we need. So the charge is there to the alums, to the students. I know the 100 is going to be there. So let's have a great atmosphere for 3 days of good basketball in the Lawson Center beginning tomorrow night for the women, Saturday doubleheader against Alabama A&M, and then on Monday, Alabama State, the men. Should be some great basketball, should be fun for everybody. Bring the family, and we'll go from there. All right, coming up on the other side of this break, baseball season's around the corner. It's time to get to the diamond and talk with our championship winning coach, Coach Jamey Shouppe, friend of the program. We're going to talk to Coach, talk about the season, what's ahead, some of the scheduling things that we've already noticed and talked about. Can't wait to talk baseball. You see, I got my throwback jersey on. Okay, I can still fit in this thing too. That's a positive sign right there. That means that means it's cold. I mean, I've been eating too many snacks. The fact that I can still fit in this jersey that's a positive sign. So, all right, hang tight with us. Coming up on the other side of the break, Coach Jamey Shouppe, FAMU baseball. We'll be back in just a moment. Right here, you're watching the O&G Strike Zone on the Black College Sports Network.
This is Bryan Fulford. AD Drew and I are co-hosts of the BCSN Sports Wrap. We talk about all things related to HBCU athletics. From the games, teams, coaches, and fan interest stories, we cover it all. You can find our shows on Facebook at BCSN Sports Wrap, YouTube at MyJBN Online, and everywhere you listen to podcasts like Anchor, Spotify, Google, and Apple Podcasts. You can also find the show on the Jericho Broadcast Network's app. Make sure to download. We look forward to you joining the conversation and being a part of the show.
Looking for the ultimate cultural experience of 2025? The Zora Outdoor Festival of the Arts is where you need to be. From January 31st to February 2nd, Eatonville, Florida will come alive with incredible live performances from the Levert Experience and the Bar Cave. Immerse yourself in interactive art. Shop from over 80 vendors Take a journey through history with a new virtual tour app and enjoy family-friendly STEM activities. Plus, don't miss the unforgettable R&B tribute to the legends, honoring talents such as Whitney Houston, Marvin Gaye, and Luther Vandross. This is more than a festival. It's a celebration of Eatonville's rich cultural heritage. Visit zorafestival.org for tickets.
The human voice has always connected audiences with experiences. Major brands all across America have trusted Cover's voice time and time again. Conversational, powerhouse, intelligent, and sincere. That's the voice you need for your creative marketing process. KEAVERSVOICE.com. Cover's Voice, Cover's Voice, CoversVoice.com. Always on, all the time.
Hey y'all, it's your girl Sonia from She Say Sports. Make sure to check us out every Friday morning at 9 a.m. on Black College Sports Network, YouTube, and Linktree. And please don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube page.
All right. Welcome back to the ONG Strike Zone. Losing my voice here, Kay.
I hear you.
All that screaming I was doing on my game Monday night. Well, I tell you, I screamed too much this year. It's almost over, but whew, Jesus. Coming up shortly, we had Coach Shouppe. I saw him in the background, so I think maybe he had to reset, and he will be coming on very shortly. At the top of hour 2, we'll talk to Coach G, Coach Garfield Ellenwood, talk about track, which is the season is coming up. The indoor season is coming up right there in Birmingham. And then at the bottom of hour 2, our VP AD Suggs is going to be joining us. But without further ado, let's bring in our head coach of our FAMU baseball team, friend of the program, Coach Shouppe. Coach, how you doing?
Yeah, Bryan, how's everybody doing?
How's it going, Coach?
We're
Good, Kelvin.
Coach.
How you, man?
You're looking good, Coach.
Well. Y'all need to get me on early.
we tried. This isn't early. This isn't early.
Woo!
We appreciate you making time for us, Coach.
Glad to be here.
We caught up with you at the end of fall ball back in, I think it was November when we last talked. And here we are a couple of weeks away from the start of the 2025 season. You're still excited this time of the year. You still have the juices. It's still exciting time this time of year for you.
And when it's not, it's time to let somebody else have it and turn it over. So it's just, how baseball's, any sport. And again, Coach Crarey, when he was talking, you could hear the excitement in his voice with the season. They're pretty much into it now with conference play and all. But man, we work with college kids. We have the best job in the world. If we're not excited, then we're doing our kids an injustice, and we need to turn it over to somebody else. So this is, gosh, I don't even know how many years for me, 12 maybe here at FAMU. And every year, has different challenges. This one is certainly a challenge with all the youth that we have or inexperience that we have. But man, we're excited and ready to go. It's the weather's been great, other than last week, with all the snow. We weren't able to start practice till Friday, and by Friday the snow had melted. We were able to get on our field and hold a full practice. So it's been 5 days now of pretty good baseball weather. This whole week it's supposed to be in the 70s. So yeah, we can't complain. We don't have a long enough preseason with all the youth we have this year. We lost 6 of our top 7 hitters off of last year's club. 44 of the 60 home runs we hit are graduated or moved on. So the last 2 years we've been pretty good. And I knew going into it, when we spoke before those 2 seasons, I was excited. I knew that we had a chance to compete for a SWAC championship. This year, I don't know, man. There's so many guys that could be the difference in a good season and a great season. it's just according to how these guys mature. As I said, we're young, but we're also, we have some guys that been in the program a while, but they're inexperienced. And those are the guys that are going to have to step up for us to be competitive and have a chance to win a SWAC championship this year. Excited, certainly excited. A lot of question marks. That makes it fun, actually, as a coach sometimes. This time last year, the whole coaching staff, we were just, let's get the season started, man. We know what our lineup's going to be. We still have some question marks about our lineup in terms of who's going to win those jobs. And that makes it more excited. And, we're in no hurry for the season to start because practice is very intense. There are guys competing for jobs and a lot of new faces. As I said, a lot of inexperience. There's also a lot of youth, but there's some talent. We just got to see how we can develop those talent, how quick they're going to, become acclimated to the college game.
Nice. Go ahead, Kelvin. Did I lose you, Kelvin? I think I may have lost. Oh, there he is.
Hey, we're gonna talk about your jersey, Bryan. I heard you talk about when you're talking basketball. That's the old MEAC Russell jersey, isn't it?
Yeah, there's the logo right there.
That's the first jersey. That's the first jersey we designed when I came here to FAMU, actually. So that's got some sweet memories right there.
Nice. Well, look, I'm happy
what number you rocking?
To it. 5-0 for as old as I am. 5-0 right there. I don't know. Look, Kelvin picked this jersey out. I don't know if he was sending me a subliminal message or what. Or it just worked that way. I don't really know, but it works. It works. Go ahead, Kelvin.
Coach, you mentioned about the production you lost in terms of, your power, and you got a lot of new faces. Talk about your pitching staff. Because you got a returning all SWAC player of the year, and you got some guys that you brought in, plus some guys who returning. So kind of talk about what you think about your pitching.
Well, first of all, Kelvin, as I always say to you, privately, man, you've always supported me when I first took this job at FAMU, and you've always been a fan. And I just want to say I always have appreciated that. I just remember you and Swain used to always, got to know me early and have been friends throughout the career that I've had at FAMU. So certainly always good to be on the radio with you. And I appreciate you, man. Just wanted you to know that. We got Caleb Granger returning, the SWAC pitcher of the year. You're welcome. And I mean that. So it's going to be hard to replicate what he did last year. He had such a dynamic season, Veets before him, and he just kind of made that transition of no more Hunter Veets in our rotation to come in and just solve our problem as our number one pitcher. He'll do the same. He pitched this summer some, so he took most of the fall off. He is getting himself back in shape, and he'll be ready to go on, Friday night, the first game, Valentine's Day, February 14th, when we play at home against East Tennessee State. But our number two guys, Carson Kelly, if he can get the academic situation straight, he'll be out there as well. There are a lot of question marks with the pitching staff. Cody Williams, a guy that led us in appearances or close to leading us in appearance last year, will be our closer. Those are the three things we know. Those three guys will be pitching a lot of baseball for us. From there's a lot of question marks, and health plays a lot into it. I was just making some notes when I was waiting to get on the air, and I count from last year 1, 2, 3, or this year's roster 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We have 10 guys that have been on and off the injured list for pitchers. Luckily, we brought in about 20 guys, so including the guys that were returning. So there are a lot of key. I said that earlier about the position players. There are a lot of guys that, if they have a good year, like I think they're capable of having offensively, then I think we're going to be okay and have a chance. Same thing can be said probably twofold for the pitching staff. There's just so many question marks there. Health is played. We may be a different looking pitching staff at the halfway point than we are at the beginning of the season, as guys slowly get themselves into pitching shape because of injuries, because of surgeries, because of, other things that have occurred. But that's okay. Once we got 3 weeks till we get in, or 4 weeks till we get into conference play. So that's when we really need to figure this thing out and see. We really need to start seeing some guys become healthy at that point. there's enough. I mean, there's enough arms there. You know, I think the biggest surprise, won't say a surprise, but, you know, there's a high school kid named Garrett Workman that's really thrown well through in the fall for us. And, you know, from North Florida Christian, we got a lot of Tallahassee kids, by the way, or area kids. And that makes it fun because the parents come out and they're vested into the program because of that. It's also a great indicator of what great coaches we have. I've got a freshman that's going to play the infield and got a chance to hit in the middle for us, named Jay Campbell, that played at Leon High School. Robbie Zimmerman, the coach there, has always done a good job of developing players. But it's good because when you get kids that come from good programs, North Florida Christian and Mike Posey, Garrett Workman, the pitcher I just mentioned, is from there, along with Brandon Walker, who transferred from Florida State, Caleb Granger, who is our number one, Hanselman, Trevor Hanselman, who's another injury guy that can be a key for us this year. There's just a lot of kids that come out of the North Florida, you know, Christian program, and you know those kids are well coached. You know those kids know how to play the game. So a lot of question marks, a lot of injuries that need to start, you know, getting healthy. Kids with the injuries that need to start getting healthy. They are. A lot of them will start facing hitters again next week for the first time. But there's enough there. If it comes together, it could come together very, very nicely. And I can say the same thing about the position players. But you never know. With youth, with inexperience, you never know how kids are gonna play when the lights come on, when the umpires show up, and when the fans start sitting in the seats. So that's the fun part of it. For us as coaches, it's fun. It's more of a challenge, which motivates us as coaches. You know, you have to work a little harder, although you try to always work hard. This team this season is going to be different than the last couple of seasons. So with that, I'm excited about it. I'm just excited to see how these kids compete. And, you know, it makes us as coaches bear down more to do our job the best we can to bring out the best in these kids. Because here's another good example. Will Brown redshirted last year because of injury. He played outfield and second base for us 2 years ago on the SWAC championship team. Remember, we moved him into second base for the tournament. We turned like 5 double plays or 8 double plays in 5 games in the tournament. He's back healthy, playing second base again, and looks very good. Offensively, you know, he's battling for the leadoff position right now. He could be a very dynamic player. You know, he's got big shoes to replace our leadoff guy for the last 2 years, and Ty Jackson, who's, and I've said it before, I'll say it probably till I leave this planet. He's the best leadoff hitter, the best competitor that I've ever coached, including my years at Florida State. I mean, the guy was just a beautiful baseball player, playing for the Savannah Bananas right now. Right. So Will Brown's got a chance to fill those shoes pretty nicely. Very similar in build, and a very good infielder as well. So just Will Brown's a perfect illustration of what we're going to have this year to be successful. Jose Figueroa at first base. He played, you know, when Greco went down for several weeks with injuries or illnesses, Figgy played well, hit a couple of home runs for us, switch hitting, first baseman, bigger kid. Another question mark. We got Jay Niles returning at shortstop. You know, he's had a great career for us. Very good defensive player. We've got Jay Campbell, the freshman I mentioned from Leon, that's fighting with Matt Perez, another freshman, happens to be a redshirt freshman that we just redshirted. He could have played last year. We just redshirted him because I didn't want him to lose at-bats because we had Haydamoto at third that played pretty well for us, you know, played a 4-year starter for us in the infield. Ben Kim's back in the outfield, hit a couple of home runs. Jordan Brown is back in the outfield. We brought in a couple of transfers that should help us. Justin Cruz, center fielder from TCC. He also is a right-handed pitcher, sidearm pitcher. You know, I've always got to have a sidearm guy that pitches. The freshman class is as talented as any freshman class I've ever been in. That's the good point. The bad side of that is they're freshmen, you know, so you never know how they're going to play. You know, it could be a completely different lineup, just like pitching staff at the halfway point than it is right now, because I'm going to give some of these guys a chance, the Ben Kims, the Jordan Browns, the kids that are very capable that were playing behind Bastardo last year, you know, that you're not going to get a whole lot of at-bats playing right field when you got a guy that can hit double-digit home runs for you. Ty Jackson, you know, those guys that are guys you just go to the ballpark and you can fill out, anybody can fill out the lineup, you know, where they're going to play and where they're going to hit. They're going to get the chance first. And some of these, they don't fulfill what the expectations are for our program. And these freshmen are sitting there chopping at the bits to get at bats and get some playing time and get some growth. But it's a talented there's about 7 or 8 freshmen in this class, a huge freshman class, and a very, very talented freshman class. Josh Bell, Trey Kraft. I know I'll leave somebody out. Cam King looks like a big leaguer. You know, just got all kind of talent. He's a two-way guy too, outfielder and a pitcher. Came in as an infielder. We moved him to the outfield. Justin Lopez is as good a defender as I've had as a freshman coming in. So he'll get some playing time in the infield as at the worst, the defensive replacement. And he'll push some people as well. I mentioned Jay Campbell. I mentioned Matt Perez. Pitcher named Wellington Heen has got a great arm that's got to get himself ready.
He's 6'5". He's a big kid. 6'5".
He's a big old boy, no doubt. He really is. Cam King is big kid as well. Trey Kraft is a big kid, left-handed hitter, first baseman. I mentioned him earlier as a freshman. We got some junior college kids that are coming in. You know, a couple of local kids, Caden Slappy that played at Lincoln, went to junior college and came back. Adam Parzik, who played at Lincoln, went to a junior college and came back. Colton Riles, who played at Louisiana school that was like 12th in the country, Louisiana Lafayette last year, and transferred back into us. So there's enough there. Again, it's just going to be key how well we get guys healthy and how quick we can figure out what our lineup should be. I'm sorry, how quick they figure out what our lineup's going to be.
Go.
We tell them all the time, we don't make the lineup. You do that based on your practice and based on your play. So a lot of question marks, a lot of jobs that are being fought for right now. And that makes it fun again and exciting as well. You know, and I mentioned all those guys, and I forgot to mention coming back, our other, you mentioned Caleb as a, you know, preseason all something SWAC performer. You know, I told you we lost 6 of our 7 top hitters last year. The one we didn't lose was Brody Popple, who had 7 home runs last year. I think he's the best catcher in Tallahassee, and that includes the other school in Tallahassee, Florida State. So I just think he's that talented. Switch hitter, runs, plays the game hard, very good catcher, very good throw and catch guy, works the pitchers well. I mean, he's a great player. He's got a chance to be very, very good. So, yeah, there's enough there. We just got to see how quick they develop and again, figure out what our lineup's going to be. Because this time last year, I could tell you the top 8 guys. This year, I got no idea. You know, I have no idea what our lineup's going to be. And I'm waiting for them to figure it out to let me know what the lineup's going to be.
This is what I love about you, Coach. I'm sitting, hey, Kelvin, I don't know about you, but I'm sitting here scrolling through the roster, checking off names. This is how, look, I hope y'all around the nation appreciate Coach Shouppe, because Coach Shouppe just ran through 20. I mean, look, a baseball roster, you got about 30-something people on it. Coach Shouppe just ran about through 20 guys, 7 freshmen, the entire Coach, hey, I love it, man.
Hey, and there's going to be some of the players that are mad at me. They're listening because I didn't mention.
I'm sure. They're like, Coach, you forgot about me. Coach, what about me?
Hey, make me remember you then. Let's go.
There you go. I love that. There you go.
Hey, we also got another catcher too, because you know you got to have at least 2. We got several guys, but another junior college transfer, Ethan Miller, that will back Brody up, and he'll get a lot of time back there. He's a very good player as well. So there are a lot of guys that are capable. So it's again. The other thing is the league's pretty good this year too.
Yeah.
Let's talk about that, because I want to get into the schedule here a little bit while we got you here. Because I'll get into talking about the season opener here. But obviously, hold on, I got some graphics here. Okay, so first thing I want to talk about the SWAC tournament this year, moving to Birmingham, Alabama, away from Atlanta after the last couple of seasons, moving to Rickwood Field. And by the way, ladies and gentlemen, Coach Shouppe broke that on our show last time, by the way. Just going to put that out there.
Hey, you guys, and I told you I played on that field when I was in the old Southern League against the Birmingham Barons on that field a few years ago. And you also know that Major League Baseball came in and they had a tribute to the old Negro Leagues there that they played a national televised game. I don't remember the two teams that played it, and they put $1 million into that facility.
Yeah,
so
a few $1 million.
I think there's a problem with the lights that they're trying to fix. So once they get that fixed, I understand it's a beautiful, little different than when I played in it 40 years ago. So I'm sure, but we're excited about that. I don't think it sat well with us having to use another college team's venue to have our tournament. I don't think it set well with a lot of coaches, but that's going to be exciting. That'll be fun. I just hope these kids that I mentioned come through so we can make our trip there as well. So also too, and I hope, I don't know if I hope, maybe I'm gonna say I hope Angela Suggs is not listening right now, but there's a good chance, and if she is, I apologize in advance for breaking this as well, but she's on after me tonight, right?
No, she's after Coach G. There's a gap. There's a gap. She's after
you.
But
well, if she's mad, y'all give me a heads up text later, okay? So I know what time to get in tomorrow morning. But there's a good chance she's working on it, and she Angie does a great job with facilitating things, and I think that she'll, with the help of a few other people, make this happen. But there's a good chance our last game of this series of the season at Alcorn State is going to be moved to Minneapolis and playing in the Twin Cities there. I understand that the mayor of Minnesota is a Rattler,
St. Paul.
They've been trying to make this happen for a couple of years. But I think this year may be the year that happened. Once, what was it, in 2015, we played in Fenway Park in Boston. We played 2 games in Pawtucket, the AAA field. And that was a lifetime memory for a lot of kids on our team and for all our coaches as well. Brian Henry, my pitching coach at the time, was, he's the coach at Tallahassee State College, not TCC, but TSC now. And he said, Coach Shouppe, I'm going to go to the mound and talk to the pitcher. I said, that's fine. He said, you mind if I take my phone and take a selfie? I'm like, let's don't do that, Brian, because he was at Fenway Park. But we're going to get a chance, hopefully, to play 2 games in the St. Paul Saints AAA Stadium and for the Twins, and then 1 game in, I'm drawing a blank on the name of the field.
Target Field or something
I think it is. I think it is
Target. I don't know if it's still Target, but it used to be.
I think it is. And 1 game there, and that's going to be a lifetime experience for these kids, for these coaches and these kids. So that's the kind of thing that makes you smile as a head coach, to provide these kids with an opportunity to make lifelong memories. So it's super excited. Hopefully that will happen. There's a good chance. I feel like that's going to happen. With our AD, that she'll make it happen, I feel like. But again, y'all text me if she's mad at me. Kelvin will. So I know if I need to hide in the morning or not.
Hey, also regarding the schedule, new format in the SWAC this year.
Yeah,
everybody plays everybody. Finally, I've been rooting for this to happen. I noticed when I looked at the schedule, the one team we don't play this year is Southern. So I'm sure that will rotate. So we basically have 10 series, 10 3-game series. So 30-game season. We play everybody 3 games. What's your you like the format? What's your thoughts here? And then we don't play Southern this year.
Correct. Yeah, I like the format. We'll play Southern actually in the Andre Dawson tournament, which will be the second weekend of the season down in Vero. I like it. I think it's this may sound bad, but I think it's easier for the Eastern Division, because I felt like the Eastern Division with us and Bethune-Cookman and Jackson State and Alabama State, that's a tough road to play those teams 6 times. So I'd much rather play, and they'll probably sweep us for me saying this, but I'd much rather play Bethune 3 times and Alcorn 3 times than I would want to play Bethune 6 times and not play Alcorn State. So Alcorn. So that's the kind of thing you're looking at now, but you got to still go play the powerhouses from that side. I think the conference is going to be very, very good. Jose, I know, is a friend of mine at Alabama State. He likes his club. I can tell by the way he talks. Johnny he said he could probably run 2 clubs out there at Bethune-Cookman. He likes his club. Omar at Jackson State ain't saying a word, so that really scares you when he don't talk, because he's pretty loaded when that happens. And then the other side, Grambling's always with Pierre. They're always going to be good. Southern's always going to be good with their coaching staff. Some of the other teams that we ain't ever played, I've never we played Texas Southern a couple of times, but had never played we did when Brett was at Alcorn. We played them. So it'll be fun to see different venues and compete against different guys. And again, anytime I can only have to play Alabama State 3 times instead of 6, Jackson State 3 times instead of 6, Bethune 3 times instead of 6, I'll take my chances on the other side or with anybody else. So I like it. I like the format for it. Still you got to fight. You're going to have to fight every game. It's SWAC baseball, and it's very good baseball. So excited about that. Excited to travel some different venues and see some different, areas. It should be exciting. It should be fun.
Right. So before we let you out of here, Coach, let me just let people know, Rattler Nation, the season begins, as you mentioned, Friday, February 14th versus UT Martin at Moore Kittles, 4 p.m., part of a 4-game series.
Correct.
Where we play Friday, 4 o'clock Eastern. And that's a great weekend, by the way, Rattler Nation. You guys got to get there because I think we've got our basketball homecoming going there. I think softball's even playing that weekend. So it's a great opportunity to get up to FAMU in a couple weeks. Take the wife or the husband up there. Get a hotel while they're cheap and they're not homecoming prices. And enjoy a great weekend in Tallahassee. Spend Valentine's Day supporting not only FAMU baseball but all of our other sports that'll be happening there in Tallahassee. So that 4-game series starts Friday afternoon, 4 o'clock. Then we've got a doubleheader on Saturday at 1 o'clock and 4 o'clock. And then the Sunday finale is a 1 o'clock game. And then we even have a game on Tuesday the 18th against University of North Florida. So you open the season with 5 games, and then you travel to Gainesville on a Wednesday. So that's the first start to the season. And then you go down to Vero Beach, Coach, for the Andre Dawson Classic on February 21st, taking part at the Jackie Robinson Training Complex, a beautiful ballpark. Had the pleasure of coming down. I think I definitely will be there for that one, at least on Saturday. We play, as you mentioned, we play Southern on Saturday night, 7 o'clock. And actually, I think we played a night game.
We played Friday night against Missouri, SEC opponent. So we basically play Florida then Missouri, back-to-back SEC opponents, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
So,
Yes.
Yeah.
And Southern on Saturday night, and then Sunday afternoon against Alabama A&M.
Correct.
So.
Yeah. We're excited. I tell you what, you mentioned opening day, Valentine's. So I tell you what we'll do. We'll everybody that shows up on Valentine's Day for the first game, we'll give them free season tickets. How about that?
Hey, you get that approved too, Coach? I mean, look.
Free season tickets. Anybody shows up on Valentine's Day.
Coach, that's beautiful. I love
That's
that.
good. That's
I
good.
What you did there, Coach. That's what you did there. Coach, hey, well, again, Coach, man, it's always a pleasure having you on the show. And we look forward to getting to know the team. We look forward to talking to some of the guys and really get a chance to see these faces. We've gotten used to some names over the last couple of seasons, so it'll be fun to kind of get to know the returners again, but also definitely a lot of new faces that will be the future of FAMU baseball for years to come. Any last words here, Coach, before we close out with you and head to break?
No, I just want to say thanks to you guys. Thanks to our fans. Hopefully everybody show up and support, as Coach Crarey said earlier, support FAMU athletics, please. Our players deserve it. Our players need it. Our programs need it without question. Appreciate you guys for not only what you do for us in baseball and making it visible and talking baseball a little bit for all the sports that you cover at FAMU. So we're certainly appreciative to you guys for the job you do. Appreciate it.
All right. Thank
Appreciate
you, Coach.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Coach Jamey Shouppe. Make sure you guys check out the baseball season, and we look forward to talking more baseball here in the upcoming weeks. God bless. Take care, Coach.
Thank you, man. Appreciate it.
All right. Always good stuff. Always good stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. Even Sam said, yeah, that was a good one, Coach. That was good. If you know, you know, right, Kelvin? If you know,
right,
you know.
right.
Oh man. And I appreciate it. Who was it said? Gaines, V Gaines said, so I guess softball is in Covington, Georgia that weekend. So it'll just be a basketball weekend. Jackson State and Alcorn will be in town, and then baseball. So you get 2 sports. There you go.
Yeah.
And we're going there. Woo. All right. Coming up right after this break, got another head coach, another championship winning coach on the other side. The director of FAMU track and cross country, Coach G, coming up right on the other side of this very short break. Hang in there with us. Get a drink of water. Come back and let's talk about the track season and the indoor circuit going on right now as they get closer to the SWAC indoor meets. You're watching the O&G Strike Zone right here on the Black College Sports Network. We'll be back in just a moment.
This is the Dean of the College of HBCU Sports, Kenyatta Cavill of Dr. Cavill's Inside the HBCU Sports Lab with Mike Washington and Charles Bishop. Come mix it up in the lab where the course lecture is in session every Tuesday from 6 o'clock p.m. Central Standard Time on Facebook Live, YouTube Spreaker, or the BCSN app. As we discuss all things about the HBCU sports culture, including exploring the week that was in the sporting HBCU diaspora, as well as the upcoming week of HBCU sports. With me, the Dean, the College of HBCU Sports, on Dr. Cavill's Inside the HBCU Sports Lab with Mike Washington and Charles Bishop. Course lecture dismissed.
It's like a loop machine. All around town, trying to get it down. It's like a loop machine.
You're looking for the latest information on Southern University sports, the Southwestern Athletic Conference, and HBCU athletics. There's only one place to go. Tune in to the Carlos Brown Show, exclusively on the Black College Sports Network.
Looking for the ultimate cultural experience of 2025? The Zora Outdoor Festival of the Arts is where you need to be. From January 31st to February 2nd, Eatonville, Florida will come alive with incredible live performances from the Levert Experience and the Bar Cave. Immerse yourself in interactive art. Shop from over 80 vendors. Take a journey through history with a new virtual tour app. And enjoy family-friendly STEM activities. Plus, don't miss the unforgettable R&B tribute to the legends, honoring talents such as Whitney Houston, Marvin Gaye, and Luther Vandross. This is more than a festival. It's a celebration of Eatonville's rich cultural heritage. Visit zorafestival.org for tickets.
Welcome back to the ONG Strike Zone. Bryan, Kelvin, and we go from one championship coach to another championship coach. Welcome back to the show, Coach G, Coach Garfield, Ellenwood. Coach, how you doing?
I'm good. Thank you for having me.
Man, always a pleasure to have you on. It's always good to talk to winners, Coach. You lift our spirits up and make us feel good about ourselves. So thanks for taking time out tonight.
Yeah,
no problem. Hopefully we can have feeling good.
Yeah. How's the look? Before we get into talking about some of the recent news with our SWAC performers of the week, how's the season been in the indoor season, especially with the weather? I mean, we've had a couple of meets postponed, probably canceled. I not even postponed them, but the weather's been a little challenging, even for indoor meets.
Yeah, it has. Our first competition was canceled, and then we had to pivot at another meet this past weekend, but we weren't able to train up until we got to Gainesville on Thursday. Shouppe was just talking about Angela making some things happen, and she was able to work her magic and get us into the facility where we could get an opportunity to actually train. and get a real training session in, so that we would be in somewhat better position to compete on Friday. So we took advantage of that, which was good. And we actually ran well. I wasn't expecting us to run as well as we did because we hadn't practiced. And I took that opportunity to say, okay, I'm gonna get the butter from the duck, and we're gonna train hard this Thursday, and whatever happens, and Friday and Saturday happens. And they actually ran well. So, hey, I guess they in some shape, and I guess God had a lot to do with that.
Coach, you just threw me for a loop with that one. I had to chalk that one up. I never heard that one before.
It's something my dad, 83 years old, and some of the stuff he tell me, you gonna know where the rubber meets the road.
I heard that.
I mean, fat meat is greasy, and get the butter from the duck. Say whatever, and it all came to us not doing what we were supposed to be doing. So he was gonna make sure he got it all.
Amen. I love that. I bet if I said that to my kids at school, they look at me like, "What?"
Oh, trust me. They have to tell you like, "What are you talking about?" And I'd be like, "Hey, just go."
That's beautiful. Go ahead, Kelvin.
Coach, talk about your team and some of the results. You know, you've had some all SWAC performers announced that we'll get into, but you know, so far indoor, talk about, you know, some of your better performers and what do you think this team is at this point in the season?
I feel pretty good about where we are. We're actually ahead of when we went to New York, and that being our first competition, not having the week prior. They actually performed very well. We took 11 females, 13 males. The men got second overall team scoring to the HBCU showcase, and the women got third. So I was very pleased. Nia Blocker won the 60 meters with a PR. Dejan Clark won the 60 meters with a PR. He won the long jump. Leonard Mastori won the hurdles. Paul won the high jump. I mean, so things are going in the right direction. I'm very pleased with where we are. Like I said, we're ahead of where we were last year. So I hope that we just keep this trend going and the weather cooperates, and we should be good to go.
So do you have the numbers and the events that you are focusing on do you think to be able to compete for the SWAC title?
Yeah, I do.
Indoor?
Definitely. We have enough pieces in place. I redshirted a couple of people, brought in some transfers. So, I think we're going to be in a good position. At the end of the day, I always say it's in the Lord's hands. If it's His will, we definitely going to do our part. And so far, so good.
Okay, well, I got one more question, and I think I know the answer to this, but I know Rattler Nation was really interested in this. So, the FAMU relays. What's the latest information on that?
Yeah, we decided to cancel it for this year because everything started kind of late. We had things going, then transition happened. Things started going a little left as far as getting the team's commitment. See, one thing I truly believe, if you're going to do a meet, you have to do it right.
Yep.
It's got to be planned out, facilities, things have to be in place because there's so many other opportunities. Back in the days, FAMU Relays was one of the biggest relays because a lot of people didn't have anywhere else to go. Right. Now they have an opportunity to go other places. So if we're going to do it and get people to come and continue to come, we have to do it right. And I talked to Angela, and she was 100%. Yeah, she's like, I don't put on anything.
Yes. Yeah, I got you.
We're going to make sure that it's right.
Okay. Good deal.
Good deal. I heard that as well. But let me ask about so the most recent meet was in Gainesville against where you had professional and unattached athletes. Maybe a concept that many people aren't familiar with, but it is what it is, right? It says what it is, unattached. But the one thing that stuck out for me, I believe it was in the 60-meter men's race, where Dejan Clark was running in a meet with an Olympic gold medalist and finished third. Am I correct on that? Did I see that right?
Yeah. He ran very well. Noah Lyles won the race. former athlete of mine, Caleb Dean, he got second and Dejan got third. But he definitely held his own. I'm very proud of him. I'm very proud of where he is in this season because last year he was pressing a little bit. Then he got a slight injury, decided to redshirt him. And I think it was the best thing that could have happened because he had another year with me and his progression is going straight through the roof. So I'm very excited for him.
Okay. And looking at some of the SWAC awards that just came out as today, I think Kirk Dawkins ended up earning some honors, co-track athlete of the week. Talk a little bit about Kirk's performance over the weekend.
That was a great performance for Kirk, especially, like I said, not being able to train for 4 days. He came out, he set a personal best in the indoor 800 meters. He ran a great 400 the day before and worked out the day before that. So he did outstanding. Alicia Douglas, the same thing. Alicia Douglas did three events, the 400, the 1,000, came back and PR'd in the 800. Oh, you got it. Okay.
Oh, yeah, I got it.
And then my freshman, Ariana Ladson, she did an outstanding job. This was her second collegiate meet. Finally getting her groove back in the hurdles. Long jump, and she hadn't long jump in 2 years. We started working with her, getting her back into the long jump. She PR'd, she won the meet. So it was definitely outstanding. Everyone did a great job. I'm looking forward to where we're going.
Good stuff. So my thoughts go, okay, so looking this upcoming weekend, the California Challenge, the Gamecock Challenge, I'm assuming that if I remember the schedule, I'm just kind of flipping on now, that's a schedule the 31st and 1st. So is it split in 2 locations or is it all in Columbia? Is it at South Carolina?
It's all in Columbia, and our athletes made it to the seeded section, so they'll compete on Saturday.
Okay.
So that's pretty good. We got some going to get here. We weren't sure, because they split it and wasn't sure. Some would end up running on Friday or Saturday. Put out the list today, and they all advanced to the faster day on Saturday. So looking forward to having some good performances there, and then we'll train following week and then head to Chicago. I'm really excited about going out to meet with all of the alumni in Chicago. They've been supportive. I mean, they're fundraising for it. They're doing everything. They're really excited about having us come. And last year we had good performance, and now the athletes know what to look forward to. So they're really excited about it as well.
I'm curious with track because obviously you mentioned the upcoming schedule after the Windy City invite in Chicago. Then you have the actual SWAC championship in Birmingham. Or because everything is, time-based, you can kind of watch and see what other people do throughout the year. Do our athletes, do the students do that? Do they kind of, it's like almost like scoreboard watching? Or you kind of looking over on the websites and kind of seeing what so-and-so ran or what so-and-so threw or how they jumped? Is that sort of kind of standard practice, or are we more focused on ourselves and our own personal best? What do you get from your team this year?
Oh, they do it all the time, and it gets underneath my skin because I'm like, just focus on what you do. Stop worrying about what the next person do. But I mean, it's social. We live in the world of social media. It is what it is. Back in the days, all we had was a sheet to call track wire, and then by the time you find out what somebody ran, it was 2 weeks down the line. So you had no choice but to focus on you, and that's really what I try and get them. Worry about your lane. Have tunnel vision like a Clydesdale. And then they said, "What's a Clydesdale?" Okay. Have you seen the Budweiser commercial? The horse with blind. Just stay focused on you. But yes, they do it, and they do it a lot.
All right. I figured they did. I mean, it just seems like human nature to kind of do that this day and age. All right. And so I noticed as I just kind of peep around the schedule, you go from not much of a break from the indoor season to the outdoor season, which really starts in March. I mean, we kind of finish up February with indoor season, then you go into March. Well, not only do you have the NCAA indoor champions, but you also have the outdoor season, which starts. What is that transition look like? And maybe I'm shame on me for looking that far ahead, but just for Rattlers, who might be kind of curious in case they can't get to something indoors and might be more outdoor people.
Okay, so right now we have March 7th and 8th scheduled for our first outdoor competition, the River City invite, and be held at UNF in Jacksonville. We've also been contacted that they're putting together it's complete now. Once the final weekend of the conference championships results come out, they're going to have a HBCU track and field championships in Louisville, Kentucky.
Wow.
So let's find out about that. So what they're doing is they're taking the top 16 athletes in each event and then inviting them to Louisville to the new facility they have in Louisville. And then they're providing hotels. You just have to you'll get your transportation there and your meals and things of that nature. So spoke with Angela, briefly informed her about it, and I'm thinking I might forego depending on how many we have qualified, and to keep costs down, forego the Jacksonville trip to go to that championship meet. But I also have to take into consideration who have qualified for the indoor championships, because that's the following week. And the goal when I walked in here hasn't changed, is to be the first HBCU win national championship. So you got to be at that meet in order to do that. So right now, that's kind of we're going to see what it all falls out at. And then if anyone in the area wants to get an opportunity to see us compete in person, Florida State Relays is the 29th of March. And that's the one time that we will be here in Tallahassee.
And that's an indoor national championship that you mentioned in Louisville, right?
Yes, that'd be indoors. Mm-hmm. Which is and
it'll take across MEAC, SWAC, even Division II.
SAIC, CIAA. What they're doing division, they're going to have a Division I section.
Okay.
And then they're going to do Division II and NAIA together.
Okay.
And run it that way. It'll be top 16, top 8 to the final, champion from there in each event.
I'm curious. Does it obviously having two divisions, I get it. Does it matter if they were to theoretically have all of them together, would it really make a difference? What's your thoughts there? I'm just curious.
Well, I guess that what they're trying to do is kind of keep it on a even playing field. And when I say that, let's say Division II, you only get 10 scholarships.
Okay. Where
we get 18 women, 12 points. So we might have an opportunity to have a little bit more. But if you put everyone that's have the same outline or same demographic, then it'll be easier to cry. Now, at the end of the day, clocks don't lie. So if the Division II /NAIA, they run faster, then hey, everybody knows they the fastest.
That was my thought. That's why I was wondering. That's where I was going with that. So, but it makes sense though. I mean, plus, I think a lot of folks will get a good kick out of being able to finally put see our men and women run up against, whether it be A&T or whoever else you might consider a power from the MEAC, and just kind of, it's always fun. I think whenever you can kind of do that, I think it's fun. Adds to the brand of HBCU track, and we let the best run against the best, so to speak, right?
Yeah. The one thing I like about track and field, like you talked about, the unattached athletes and professional athletes, that's 90% of the meets. Collegiate athletes compete against professionals or elite level athletes. So it's been going on since before I was running. So that's the one time when it's not about who has this, who has that. We lining up between these two lines and may the best man or woman win.
Before we let you go, Coach, I want you to give a second and talk about some of the leaders of your program, some of the men, women, some of the young people who have stood out so far, that have really shined as some of the leaders in the program.
Oh, definitely by far on the men's side is Dejon Clark. He's our men's captain. He's a quiet leader, but they follow. They understand. He's always expressing the mission. He introduced himself to me day one when I got here, and he's been right there with me since. On the women's side, Lacey Dubosky, our women's captain, very outgoing, very energetic, but will still, you can depend on her. And what I like is athletes that are going to lead by action, not by words, but by action. And they definitely, when it's time to step up, they both step up.
Okay. I appreciate that. Kelvin, you got anything for Coach?
I got one question, Coach. Do you train differently, for indoor versus outdoor because of, the differences in the distance in some events, and then the configuration of the track itself?
Oh, no, it's the same, other than because you run 60 meters on your way to running 100. So, we train that way, 400. Yes, 2 laps. It's a little bit more strategic indoors than outdoors, because with the break and some people, might get tangled up, some fall, some stumble, things of that nature. But all in all, the training is the same. It's just learning you have to be able to know when to peak and then do it again outdoors. That's pretty much the trick with coaching, just knowing when to do what and when not to do what.
All right. Good
All
deal.
right. Good stuff. Good stuff. Coach, last words, anything you want to let Rattler Nation know? Any words of advice, wisdom, support, anything you need? I want to give the floor to you, or the airwaves to you.
Well, I'm always grateful and thankful for the alumni support, not just alumni support, some staff on campus, administration on campus, housing, meal. They make sure these athletes have what they need and put them in the best position to be able to do what I need them to do in the classroom and on the track. So I just thank them. 220 Club as always, Tommy Mitchell, St. Clair Moraine, everyone that has continued to support us. Mr. McKinney, they call, they check on me, make sure we got what we need. The alumni associations, we head to South Carolina. Mr. Dean, again, just being there for us to make sure that we have what we need. I'm truly grateful for that. Of course, anyone that wants to donate to the foundation, we greatly appreciate that, because again, once we can get to a position where we can do both of these meets that we were talking about, being able to send the ones that qualify for that championship to go and still be able to send the rest to Jacksonville, that's going to take funds. So as long as they can continue to support us, and if you haven't, start supporting us, we can make you proud, because we need to do more things.
Good stuff. Well, I mean, your young men and women, they make us proud, and I enjoy kind of watching. And I was glad that we were able to kind of follow along and watch on on Peacock. And then the good social media following that we get. Shout out to HBCU Track on Twitter. They do a great job of keeping us updated. So I love it. And so I look forward to this upcoming weekend in South Carolina. So any South Carolina Rattlers or North Carolina Rattlers, or, wherever, however close you are, might even be in the Georgia area. If you can get over to Charleston, right? Charleston, South Carolina.
No, Columbia.
I knew it was the other one. Columbia, I knew it when I said it. Columbia, South Carolina. You can go support and getting ready for those. Oh, and the Chicago Rattlers. I know the Chicago Rattlers going to show up. Shout out to my guy Cliff Goins up there and the Chicago Rattlers. I know y'all going to show up big time for FAMU in the Windy City. And then February 21st in Beeham, the indoor meets. We're going to take 2. We coming this year, Swag. We've taken 2 of them from y'all this year.
Yeah, I like the sound of that.
Just to let you know. All right, Coach. Be well. Safe travels to you and the team and the coaching staff. And we look forward to some updates. I'm sure we'll talk a little bit before the SWAC indoors. So once we get to the SWAC indoors, then we'll kind of get a breakdown from you if we can get you back on the show before then. All right.
Okay, for sure.
All right.
All right. Thanks, Coach.
Hey, thank you guys. Have a blessed night.
Hey, you too.
You too.
All right. That's Coach G, Coach Garfield Ellenwood, second, joining us. Good stuff. Woo. All right. Hey, we hadn't even talked about any news, just talking the championship coaching, man, making us look good, man. Appreciate everybody in the chats. You guys make sure you go show these coaches some love, however you can. You show us love on the show by hitting the thumbs up button, hitting the like button. You can always make a donation if you want to in the super chats. You can always drop the let me put the other banner up. That way if y'all want to bless the show like that, you can drop something on the Cash App. Anything is appreciated. All helps us be able to maybe get to some road games or get to some home games, so that way Kelvin's not trying to cover everything by himself. But Kelvin's going to be there regardless. So, there it is. We do have, we talked about this, Kelvin. I guess while we're waiting on our next guest and maybe even our break, we got a season ticket pass in the vault or in the pocket that we got to find a way to give away. We need to give it away tonight. How should we do that? We haven't talked. We're talking this out live, folks, because we didn't talk about this in the background, so we might as well flesh this out now. How do we want to do that, Kelvin? How do we want to give this ticket away?
I don't know. I think we should wait and have that offline conversation.
But unless we're doing another show, Kelvin, I mean, look, we got the game. You got the game on Thursday. It's tomorrow. Okay. I mean,
maybe they can go to follow us if they're not already following us, or maybe to our subscribers. There's a few options out there.
Yeah, there are. You could definitely. That's true. You can join the JBN channel and become a Jericho Broadcast Network subscriber on our YouTube page. All of the shows that are part of the Black College Sports Network air right here. Our show, of course, Wednesday night. Dr. Cavill's Inside the HBCU Sports Lab on Tuesday, Thursdays, usually on Wednesdays as well. I know the guys who do the Indy Report, Dave and Jeff, Tariq, and Brandon, the guys who cover A&T, Tennessee State, and Hampton. I think they've been dealing with weather, so they haven't been on the last couple of weeks, but I think they will be back on next Wednesday before our show. And then, of course, Saturdays, you get Carlos Brown on Saturday covering Southern and the SWAC. And then, of course, me and, sometimes Drew, sometimes not, but you get us on Sunday night to kind of end your week or start the week, depending upon who you are. All right. With that said, we can take a break and get ready to bring on our AD, the Vice President of Intercollegiate Athletics, Mrs. Angela Suggs, is in the waiting room, prepared to come in. I wonder what kind of questions y'all got, Rally Nation. Go ahead and load them up. Load them up and I'll start starring them. We'll see. We'll see what I have no. Look, this is the one time I can say this is so. I have no idea what, if any, breaking news AD Suggs is gonna give us. We just gonna, she's coming on the show. That's all I can tell you. So y'all get the questions loaded up, and we will find out what AD Suggs is going to share with us. I know there's a lot of news floating around. There's a lot of excitement, a lot of buzz, a lot of questions. Woo! I need to go get me a drink of water here. So let's do that. And then come back with AD Suggs right on the other side of this break. You're watching the ONG StrikeZone right here on the Black College Sports Network. We'll be back in just a moment.
Looking for the ultimate cultural experience of 2025? The Zora Outdoor Festival of the Arts is where you need to be. From January 31st to February 2nd, Eatonville, Florida will come alive with incredible live performances from the Levert Experience and the Bar Cave. Immerse yourself in interactive art. Shop from over 80 vendors. Take a journey through history with a new virtual tour app. And enjoy family-friendly STEM activities. Plus, don't miss the unforgettable R&B tribute to the legends, honoring talents such as Whitney Houston, Marvin Gaye, and Luther Vandross. This is more than a festival. It's a celebration of Eatonville's rich cultural heritage. Visit zorafestival.org for tickets.
y'all, it's your girl Sonia from She Say Sports. Make sure to check us out every Friday morning at 9 a.m. on Black College Sports Network, YouTube, and Linktree. And please don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube page.
Morehouse College and Tuskegee University men's basketball teams were selected to compete in the 2025 NBA HBCU Classic presented by AT&T. The fourth annual NBA HBCU Classic will be played in the Bay Area as part of NBA All-Star 2025 and will once again celebrate the rich traditions, on-court athleticism, and commitment to excellence of the HBCU community. For tickets, visit nba.com/all-star.
All right, Rattler Nation, without further ado, let's welcome back to the ONG Strike Zone our athletic director, the vice president of Intercollegiate Athletics at Florida A&M University, Mrs. Angela Suggs. AD Suggs, what up? How you doing?
Hello, everyone. How y'all doing? Can you hear me?
We hear you loud and clear.
Awesome.
Good to have you back on the show. How have you been, first off? How are things?
Been pretty good. Been very busy. So let me start out by saying to all the Rattlers that we owe a phone call to, know that we will call you back or email you back. We are working hard, and we definitely please charge it to just Father Time and not the fact that we are not trying to get back to you. We got a lot going on, and definitely that we are excited about what's to come.
All right. So
absolutely.
What's to come? I mean, there's a lot of different breaking news. I don't even know where to start. So I'm gonna get out the way. What would you like to share with Rattler Nation first? Because we could go any number of ways with this one, AD Suggs.
Sure. So I think Dan Marino in the background. I'm here in Miami this morning. We announced our return to the Orange Blossom Classic against Howard University on August 30th, 2025. And for those of you that have attended the game before, the game is traditionally on Sunday, and in future years it will be on Sunday again. But our return this year will be on a Saturday, which is August 30th. So you do have a fifth Sunday in here, Rattlers, Rattler Saints, that it is still Labor Day weekend. Labor Day is on actually September 1st this year. And so we will return against Howard University. We had a great press conference this morning. Several leaders from the community were in attendance, and we're super excited about what's to come. We had several National Alumni Association presidents from the area that were here. And as I shared with them, our National Alumni Association President Curtis Johnson was here. And we said, we are going to huddle and we're going to talk about how, in addition to the game, and yes, there is a contract with the game but we are going to be here like digging in, getting it out of the mud, getting it out of the caviar as well in terms of raising funds for intercollegiate athletics. We are speaking about a spirit of excellence. You will hear that word a lot. We are talking about that together. And when we are here, we will have several excellence related events so that we can bring back the resources to resource a spirit of excellence for our student athletes and our athletic programs. One thing I will share with you that in my comments, we spoke about how the Orange Blossom Classic was started in 1933 against the first opponent being Howard University. The last time and at that time, it was the Black College Football National Championship when we played Howard University and beat them to be the Black College Football National Champions in 1933. Well, The last time we were the HBCU national champions, we had to come through the Orange Blossom Classic. So that means that we had to come back. And as I shared with a couple of Bison in the room, and of course with our fellow Rattlers and leadership from Miami-Dade, we're coming back to the Orange Blossom Classic so that we can get to the HBCU National Classic against Howard University again.
Nobody ties it together better than you, Angela. You tie it together so nicely. This is not by accident, the way things just get tied so nicely together. Well said. I mean, a little history nugget there for those who may not have known. So that's some good stuff. One of the questions that I saw had to do with the number of years. Can you speak to any terms of how long are we slated to be in the OBC?
Yes, so it's a 5-year deal.
Okay. So there we go. 5-year deal. Kickoff.
Bryan.
Yes.
If you don't mind, I just want to jump in and ask the question: why was this the right decision for FAMU athletics, considering we didn't participate in it last year?
Certainly. So we speak about the student athlete experience, and to have these student athletes to be able to play in an NFL stadium, to get dressed and prepare to take the field, an NFL field, and an NFL locker room, the events that lead into it. I'll tell you that the Orange Blossom Classic for the student athletes is a first class experience. And it's something that is in a community that is full of Rattlers, but also HBCU legacy corporate leaders, community leaders, government leaders, and to be able to bring our students here. And as I shared today in the press conference, some may ask, why would you choose a neutral site? Why would you leave home? Because you know what we're doing? We're bringing the College of Pharmacy and Pharmaceutical Sciences to Miami-Dade County. We're bringing the School of Business and Industry to Miami-Dade County, and exposure to Palm Beach, Broward, Dade, and even all up into St. Lucie and Martin County, and maybe even down into Monroe County for the Keys. We are bringing our College of Agriculture and Food Sciences, our College of the Environment, and other major programs that are in Tallahassee, of course, in Orlando, of course, in Tampa, and even the campuses here in Miami. We're letting people know that Florida A&M University is throughout this state, and that we have graduates that have gone out across the globe to become leaders. And it's so, in addition to the experience of the student athlete, it gives the university the opportunity to showcase being the #1 public HBCU and all of the opportunities that come through. I mean, there are 3 million people in Miami, another couple of million people in Broward, but to be able to showcase our successes up close and in person here in this particular atmosphere is something that we cannot trade for anything.
Well said.
Mic drop.
All right. A couple of questions regarding, do we know the official game time? Has anything in regards to that been discussed or released yet?
So, Mr. Fulford, the reason that we're playing on Saturday is because Notre Dame will be playing the University of Miami on Sunday, and that is an ESPN call. And so that game, and especially with the season, the coach and the Fighting Irish came from here. And so for them to come and open the season after having a stellar appearance here in the Orange Bowl, that's something that is going to be stellar. And so, as I shared again today, the world is coming to Miami Gardens for in next year, that 25-26 year. FIFA World Cup is coming next in 26. You got the College Football National Championship that will be here, as well as the second iteration of the quarterfinals that will be here. You have several marquee games that are going to come after you have Miami Grand Prix and again, the World. So what better way to start off football season as it relates to college sports than to have the mighty Rattlers of Florida A&M on August 30th to kick everything off?
Now you know everyone is fine. I love it. I'm going to be there all weekend. So I mean, you know me. The two teams I love and grew up with will be in the same city. I can't get any better than that for me. You know that. You know now the game time and start times people do want to know. So I'm, you know,
those will be television dictated.
Okay. Television dictated. Okay, well, okay, so it'll be like that. And folks, look, Miami is going to be Miami. Look, it's not going to change. And I'll tell you, look, my sister over the weekend, she had one of these little portable fans all weekend up in Atlanta. Get you a little portable fan for it. I'm gonna find out the little place that she got it from. It was a great cost. And so if you worried about that much about the heat, because it is South Florida, so let's keep it real. We can get you a little fan. We'll be all right. We'll survive.
While we are the home team this year, and it will alternate.
Oh, there you go.
We are the home team this year. It will alternate. But you have the club level, you have the 72 club that's on the 50-yard line, and we need to pack that out. And we need for people to come outside and sit in those 50-yard line seats. But again, that's what that huddle will be with leadership that's here from the National Alumni Association. Also, Rattlers that have not affiliated themselves as of yet with the Alumni Association, other family members of Rattlers. There are several people whose kids, while they may not have attended FAMU, their children attended FAMU. Mayor Rodney Harris, he did not, but his kids did. And so we will bring everyone together that has a connection. I'm going to shout out someone from Kelvin that, of course, we'll be bringing in. And while Sam Madison did not go to FAMU, he did attend FAMU High, played for the Dolphins, and every one of his cars has a FAMU plate on it. So we'll be pulling in everyone, people like that, to come in and make sure that Hard Rock Stadium is packed out, and that also the other events that raise scholarships for students that are attending HBCUs, that we are successful in this endeavor.
And to that point, Angela, my question is there any consideration? Is there any type of game zone that may have a sponsorship, something that gets the tailgating, something that gets the people to the stadium earlier and to have an experience?
And that's what that committee is going to be about. And we will huddle people. And so those of you that are listening that would like to, be a part of that, it's about your community organizations purchasing group tickets. It's about your fraternities, your sororities, your churches, your corporations, and everyone else being able to share in the different the varying opportunities that there are to enjoy the game. We were just here a couple of weeks ago for that Penn State Notre Dame game, and there are thousands of people that attend that game no matter who the teams are. That's what the opportunity is for Orange Blossom Classic as well.
Absolutely. Okay.
Well said. Okay. OBC. Let's see. Let me write that down. We got that one off the list. All right. Let's move to the next one. The next one that I think is probably the hot topic. Can you share any information on homecoming? Do we know the homecoming date? We've started to see other schools release their date. So I guess maybe let me back up. Instead of asking that, I'll ask the question, when will the 2025 full Florida A&M football schedule be released?
So the Rattler men and women's basketball programs are electric. Our teams return to Tallahassee this weekend, and tomorrow night our women will take on Alabama State University at 6:30 p.m. Come out to the Lawson Center and join us tomorrow night, and we might just have a surprise for you at halftime.
Oh, okay. Okay. Look, see, there it is, folks. There it is. So will people who are watching online on Rattlers Plus have an opportunity to take part in that surprise?
And so, if we have any technical difficulties, because that's always a chance, right? What we will do is we're going to drop the schedule and any accompanying collateral that goes with that drop immediately after it is shown at halftime of tomorrow night's game.
Okay. Okay. All right. We'll cross that one off. So we know schedule drop. So possibly tomorrow. Beautiful. Can I ask about the homecoming date? Is that a 24-hour wait to find out kind of thing?
You know, it's going to be an exciting homecoming. Last year, we had more people than we've had, definitely since COVID, but that we've had in quite some time. And we anticipate that it will be the same. We have an opponent that travels well. And so we look forward to not just all Rattlers coming, but that in terms of a great matchup and a great spirited, if you will, HBCU camaraderie celebration opportunity that will be before us. And several other games as well. It's an exciting schedule for sure.
It is.
For sure. I'm sitting here trying to. So you got to pay attention when AD Suggs talks, folks. You have to listen. You got to listen. You have to stop asking and stop typing and just listen to the words. Okay. Let me see. You guys are funny. Good stuff in the chats. Okay. Let me go through a few questions here. Let me see what I can find that you would be willing to answer. Let's see. I can't ask that one. You've already asked that. When will season tickets go on sale? How about that question?
So again, we're working through that and taking a look at it. I will tell you that there will be some changes. We will communicate that. They will be good changes, I think. Some that are able to be received well, palatable, if you will. But as we release it, we will release the season ticket packages in a setting that will allow for questions and answers. And we will have several other question and answer opportunities for it as well. Again, in the spirit of excellence, the landscape of Division I athletics is changing. If you've seen anything about what's going on with the Congressional House settlement and what's happening just in the landscape of athletics, our Division I program, when we win SWAC championships, outside of football, we go on to play $1 million programs immediately. And even in the SWAC, when we transitioned over into the Southwestern Athletic Conference, into that league, that's a highly competitive league. But it's also a league that, while the MEAC, the Mid-Eastern Athletic Conference, is definitely one that showcases pride and a spirit of excellence, the SWAC does as well, with several more institutions that are doing very well. And so we want to be the best of the best wherever we go. Not only do we want to win with our athletic programs, but we want to win academically. We want to win any and everybody that's giving out a trophy, a certificate, a medal, or an award, for graduation success rates, for APR, for athletic communications, for whatever it is. Florida A&M University should be at the table, and that's what we want to do. But that's going to take resources, and it's going to take a commitment to excellence that we have got to raise our level of investment across the board, both internally and externally.
Okay. And to sort of accompany that last question, will the OBC game possibly be a part of the season ticket package?
It will not.
All right. Thank you for that. It will not.
But
Florida Classic?
The tickets did go on pre-sale today. And for those of you that have purchased tickets before, you should have gotten an email or some sort of notification for you to get your code so that you can go in for the pre-sale. Additionally, Florida Classic will be a priority purchase for the former ticket purchasers and for our premium level investors that have been in the past. And so for our season ticket holders, and some of you, many of you may remember that the season ticket holders have always had first rights and a priority purchase opportunity for Florida Classic tickets.
All right. Beautiful stuff. Beautiful stuff. You think you kind of mentioned about the Investing in Champions going live for payment plans? Yes, no, maybe?
So we're looking at our season ticket program, and we are looking to roll that out in the very near future. We look to give you a date for when that will be rolled out by this Saturday's game.
Okay. Good stuff. Appreciate you, Melissa Wilson, representing the hot coming
Hey,
in.
classmate.
Go ahead, Kelvin. Ask away. I'm scrolling through. Let me see how many. I got people who are coming in here. Let me see. We can tell Larry Sargent's asking. Larry, it's a 5-year deal. 5 years. So whatever this is, C20. So yeah, 5-year deal, Larry. So 5 years, at least minimum 5-year deals with the OBC. Rotating opponents, most likely.
I want you to peel back the onion, so to speak, on a question that I know I hear a lot. Tell me about your philosophy when you're building the football schedule, both in terms of conflicts or working with the administration at FSU, as well as, the guarantee game versus home game stuff.
Sure. And so, and looking at that, again, it's about the student athlete experience first. It's not once upon a time, and I'll just be very candid. I looked at it when I was here the first time where, okay, every child or every family, when you go to the Pop Warner game or whatever game it is, everybody's going pro, right, in their weight class or whatever their age group is, and that kind of thing, when they are running around on the field, and it's really, really good, particularly if you are viewing that in some of the more popular areas where the leagues are wide and vast, where you have hundreds of kids out on a field with several games. You're out there all day, right? However, now, as I had my experiences over the past 7.5 years and kind of taking a look at some things, it really is about coming back to FAMU, how our student athletes can experience a bowl-like experience, or something that if but for this particular event, that they wouldn't experience it. Right? It's not too many times that you get a police escort 2 to 3 days in a row. Now, we get the escorts going to the games, or, when in conference play and that kind of thing. But when you're talking about being able to dress up and go into a room where you have the presidents and CEOs and executive leadership of Fortune 100 companies that they're able to interact with, that they are able to exercise social skills and the like, we want to be able to put them into those opportunities as best we can, right? But also, again, as I mentioned before, to be able to showcase, because what we want FAMU athletics to be is of value to the institution as a whole. When we say that we are broadcasting to millions, and now thanks to streaming, it's evergreen. Like, you can go back and watch the 2023 Orange Blossom Classic right now. You can watch it 20 times if you want to. And so, therefore, you can see any type of footage that we rolled on our academic programs. Sponsors can get evergreen opportunities where those are going to be showcased through streaming platforms. And so, those are the things that we take a look at and that we put in place. And so, if we are going to leave home, it's going to have to benefit the greater good of the institution through sport, because that's what we're looking for, that we are showcasing opportunities at FAMU through our athletics program.
All right.
Let's see. Another good question for you, I think. How many home games in Bragg this year?
5.
Nice.
That 6th game is now our home. We are the home team here in Miami.
Okay. And we are the road team at the Florida Classic?
No. And so this is the 100th game of the Florida Classic, and we are the home team and the host team. And so get ready, Rattlers. This 100th iteration of the Florida Blue Florida Classic is going to be something to remember.
Okay. See, I was going to ask that, but see, you already kind of hinted that there's going to be some fireworks for that one too. That'll be good. Man, Kelvin, we got to start working on our 100 our what do we call it? Our top 100 FAMU players that have played in the Florida Classic. We're going to start working on that list. Okay. So here's a good question related to this marketplace of football season and tickets, and it had to do with hotels. And I think I have the question. I don't know if I have it in particular, but it had to do about any conversations that FAMU, whether it be you, President Beard, anyone, Board of Trustees, that is having with the city of Tallahassee to work with the hotel industry. Even Florida State working for to say, hey, look, we know people are coming, but do the prices have to be 4 times, 5 times the market? I mean, this is what the people are asking. So I just have to ask that. Are those conversations happening?
So, of course, I mean, I lived in that space. I lived in that space in my immediate past life. And as I've shared before, it's not an attack on FAMU, right? We have 2 Division I programs, football programs in the same mall. It's Tallahassee. There are not very many markets in the country like ours. We're special. And in looking at that, the way that you combat that is you find a way to come to Tallahassee outside of football season, legislative session, and commencement. Because the reason that the rates are that they are is because our neighbors and our parents and our cousins and our sisters, they need to get paid on July 2nd when nobody is in Tallahassee. They need to get paid this weekend on January 30th. And so the way that these for-profit entities have to do that is that you have to project your revenues and be able to pay payroll 26 and a half, however many it is, pay cycles that you have throughout the year. And that's how they have to look at it. So it's not an attack on the industry. It's a way to stay open. And so again, coming from the tourism side of things for a minute and taking a look at that and how it gets done. There are weekends when we're not in Tallahassee and our other sister institution is, and the rates are sometimes that and higher. So again, we need Rattler Nation to understand that it's not just an attack on us, right? And then 2, to our family members, and we speak about how difficult it is to get into Tallahassee, but then we marvel, right, at what takes place in Athens, or what takes place in Tuscaloosa, or what takes place in College Station, or what takes place. I can go on, right? When we go to those, you're not flying into Tuscaloosa unless you got your own G5. Right? You're flying into Birmingham and you're driving an hour. Well, at least you can fly into Tallahassee, right? Or you can fly somewhere close thanks to some of the other regional efforts that are there. But we are having the conversation prior to us finalizing the schedule that we will release tomorrow night. I did speak with Florida State University. I had those conversations. I did not settle on our schedule until I received their home schedule. I received their home schedule before they published their home schedule so that we could make sure that we took care of what we needed to take care of for our experience of excellence for our home events as best we could.
So we feel like there are very few, if any, conflicts this season, which.
No, we have some conflicts. I mean,
Okay.
Florida State is playing like 8 home games.
Oh, wow.
And if we're playing 5, then there are only so many football weekends, right? So there will be that. But I can tell you, we are adding more room nights or more beds to Tallahassee. There are hotels that are going up. There are Airbnb opportunities that are going up. The RV rather community. Shout out to Rick Kinsey and Red and all of them up there, and Mr. Gaines and everybody that's up, in our RV community. Shout out there. We actually are, looking at all of the opportunities for people to be able to come to Tallahassee and have a great experience.
Nice. A concept that my good friend Keith brings up is about, and I think there's another university that does something similar, about creating a system with the ticket of purchase, with the portion of ticket sales going towards NIL. Has that been discussed, explored? Is it something that you feel like could happen this upcoming year? What can you share regarding that concept or that right there?
Discussed and explored, yes.
Okay.
All right.
Well said.
I've got a question I want to jump in on that I know I hear a lot. We have a lot of attractive games this year in Bragg. Our seating capacity is our seating capacity. We have the North End Zone experience. Has there any decision been made on that?
Certainly. And so again, we're definitely coming in, taking a look at the entire experience. I actually have gone into the stadium just on random days and sat in different seats just to kind of because I'm kind of a see it, feel it kind of person. And I'm sitting there and I'm thinking about game day as and it looks kind of crazy, but I actually go and sit. I'll sit at the top of section O, or I'll sit, from a student perspective in sections S or section P, or I'll go over and I'll sit even because we have some obstructive view seats, and I'll sit there and try and figure out, well, what are we going to do with this? And see what we can do there. And in the North End Zone as well, taking a look at how we can enhance that experience also. So we definitely are taking a look at all of that. And while it may not be overnight, it definitely is something that we are taking a look at into the future.
Concessions. Is there an opportunity for vendors along with whatever? Can you just talk about what concessions potentially might look like?
Sure. And so one of the things that we look at as it relates to the experience, particularly on game day or anything that goes to your discretionary dollar, right? You want it to be clean. You want it to be safe. You want there to be something that's good and memorable that makes you come back each and every time, right? So good food, right? People come back for good food. There are stadiums across the country that are known for their hot dogs or that are known for their hamburgers or that are known for whatever it is, chicken on a stick, whatever it is that you're looking for, right? And so with that, we are definitely having conversations on campus, having conversations in our office internally about what are the memorable.
Uh-oh, did the phone go dead?
No,
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 there she is.
it's
Okay.
just someone called, I think. Am I back?
Okay.
Yes,
Yeah,
you're back. You're
we
back.
got you.
Okay, so clean and safe cannot be compromised, right?
Yeah.
But what we do to add on to that in the footprint, inside the stadium, outside of the stadium, because really the game day experience starts with whatever it is that we put into you to motivate you from the time you get up. Come on, Rattlers, and come on, everyone. We know that you love something when you lay out your clothes or and I know layout may not be grammatically correct, but when you hang your clothes out and you decide and you say, "Ooh, I'm gonna kill them in this," right? That you have started your experience, right, in terms of whatever event that you're going to well before you get there, and that's our goal. That's what we're looking for in terms of Rattler Nation, and not just for football, but for all of our events. We want you to leave our Olympic sports, our spring sports. If you come out to softball, baseball, tennis, our bowling team, and any of our events, we want you to leave the Lawson Center. We want you to leave any of our events and say, "Man, I had a good time." When is the next event? That's what we're looking to achieve.
Okay. All right.
Good stuff. Appreciate everybody jumping in the comments. I'm trying to scroll through. Appreciate everybody. Okay, we do know our basketball programs are hot right now. You know, it's a hot ticket. Again, I'm going to reiterate what you said, what we heard Coach Crarey talk about earlier in the show. We got a big 4-game, 3-day homestand. Alabama State women tomorrow night at the Lawson. Then the doubleheader against Alabama A&M, 4 and 6 p.m. And then on Monday night, the men, Alabama State. So that's going to be big. But we also have an event the weekend when I guess it's Valentine's weekend, our basketball homecoming. So my good friend Mike Reed asked about any official activities yet taking place for our homecoming doubleheader against Jackson State, because they gonna be fired up. We walked in their house, we took their stripes, so they're fired up. So it's gonna be a fun weekend.
So we look
That's good,
forward. We look forward to putting out a schedule of events. We're working on that. Once I get back in the morning, we will kind of put a bow on some of those things and be able to release that this weekend as well.
Okay. I see people
Hey,
saying they
this one is for Earl.
What, Earl dropped something? Go ahead.
No,
Go ahead.
she know what's coming. Is the Hill decision on tailgating been made yet?
We are in discussions about our tailgating experience and looking at how we can make sure that everyone can look at tailgating and think back on how it's been and how it's going to be.
The cannon.
Okay, fair enough.
The cannon.
So the cannon, and I know the cannon is a thing. I have a special place in my heart for the cannon. Right now, from a space perspective and our capacity, the area that you need to have surrounding the cannon, because our cannon was a live cannon. When I was here the first time, we would actually drive to Moultrie, Georgia to get the ammo for the cannon to come back, right? Now, so now, no, it's not shooting bullets, that kind of thing. But, but we needed to have a space there. Well, if you noticed, if you were in the stadium the latter part of the season after we came on board, we've started to activate that space in a different way. We put additional media down in the south end zone. We put a staging area for some of our field presentations down in that area as well. And so we've kind of commandeered the space where the cannon would have been. And so for now, we're going to look at other explosive opportunities, such as the pyro that we had at the beginning of the game, and other ways that we can be celebratory in that way.
Okay. Good stuff. I remember one of the things that you were very much emphasizing was your outreach to the 850 and getting the community, not just in the county, Leon, but the surrounding area. How are those efforts going? And sort of, if you can maybe speak to how the marketing effort and the promotion is going around the Big Bend area. Maybe if you give us an update on that.
And so with our staff is lean, right, at this point. And with that, we have had outreach. Thank you to Vaughn Wilson and Dr. Jackson with the 220 Quarterback Club for our efforts leading into the Bethune-Cookman basketball game and coming out of the holiday season, right, where many people were away. They were able to help us with radio spots and different things of that nature that were sponsored. And so we're going to have to take a look at that moving forward as well. Reaching out to youth groups, like to share that on Monday and Thursday nights, kids kindergarten through 12th grade under the age of 18 are able to get into our games for free with their school ID or with their parent or what have you. Now, you can't come and pick up a ticket early, but on the night of the game on Mondays and Thursdays, bring the kids out. Have them to enjoy what's going on. With our FHSAA passes as well for our high school coaches and others that have those passes on Mondays and Thursdays, those passes are in effect as well. So come on out and join us there. But for our remaining games, we definitely will be intentional about making sure that we are in those school districts sharing. I was in Gaston County this past weekend and shared with some educators there about the opportunities to come over and enjoy our games. And we definitely are reaching out and will continue to expand that reach as we move forward.
Good stuff. Kelvin, you got anything else? I want to be mindful of your time because I know it's late, and I know you mentioned something about being back in Tallahassee. So I'm like, okay, I know you would be nice.
Besides, she's got people calling her. She's been very
I
generous.
I see that. People are calling, blowing the phone up.
I do have a few more questions, but we can get to them another time. She's answered the main ones.
Yeah. A lot of questions we'll talk about offline, and maybe we'll kind of table them for another session. I think we hit a lot of the stuff out of the ballpark tonight. With the start of softball and baseball, what will admission be? This from Jimmy Mack. Will there be an admission fee for the softball and baseball games to raise revenue this season?
Not at this time. And so let me get a little bit into that, right? So when you talk about putting a ticket on a gate, that means that you have to have a player guest will call. And so with our seating capacity, in terms of looking at that, with as well as anytime that you are collecting money or anything that has a monetary value, now you're looking at security and other expenses that may not have been or that were not budgeted. But back to the player guest list, with the numbers that we have on our rosters currently, and if each of those kids were given the same number of tickets that our other sports are given, and that's what is fair, right? Then our seats are gone. And so as it relates to, if you're looking at 25, 20 student athletes times 4, if you've been to our baseball or our softball fields, the amount of the capacity that we have left to be able to sell the juice isn't necessarily worth the squeeze at this time, but it is something that we are taking a look at. Now, what we may do is put QR codes up for you to be able to donate to these programs, and for you to be able to invest in excellence as it relates to what we're doing to move those programs forward from a student athlete and program perspective.
Okay. I'm asking here before I venture down this road, just to ask this question. Were you listening earlier in the show? Did you happen to catch any of our conversation with Coach Shouppe?
I did not.
Okay, so I am not going to ask. I'm going to not ask the question then, Kelvin. I don't want to get my guy in trouble.
No, go ahead and ask it. Coach Shouppe, all the coach, I love all our coaches.
I
And
know,
so
I know.
there
I'm
isn't
messing.
anything that would get them in trouble.
I know I'm messing. So Coach Shouppe, who we love Coach. He mentioned that there's a possibility of playing a series at the end of the season. We do play Alcorn. Of that possibly moving to Minneapolis.
Absolutely.
For a series up there. Anything you can share on to the status of that?
Certainly. And so we are definitely looking at that. The alumni leadership there in the Minneapolis St. Paul chapter, they are definitely excited about this possibility. The Minnesota Twins and the St. Paul Saints, which is their AAA league, they have presented an opportunity. It is Alcorn's home game. And so as we work through the details of that, that conversation is happening. It is a conference game. So it right now that game is scheduled to be at Alcorn. If we are able to get to a space and we're able to appeal to the conference to move the game, because we are able to do that, then it's definitely a conversation that is being had there, and it's a great opportunity. We've been there before. AD Dwayne Robinson, that's there at Alcorn, has been at FAMU, and we spoke about Rattlers that have kids that went to FAMU. His daughter is a FAMU grad, Beta Alpha initiate, I should say. But back on topic, AD Robinson and I were fortunate to go to Boston when our Rattler baseball team played North Carolina Central in a similar situation. So he and I both understand this scenario. We understand this opportunity. We understand, again, back to the student athlete experience. The same thing that we talked about football. For our guys to be able to play in a major league park as well as a AAA park, to be able, some of them for the first time, to travel that far and to go into the land of the purple in Paisley Park, we definitely are taking a look at if that is something that is doable for this year. But it comes back particularly to the student athlete experience.
Okay. Good stuff. Jimmy Mack wants to know if you have made plans to come down to Vero Beach for the Andre Dawson Classic. Will you have an opportunity to get down there?
It's too early.
I'm trying to work it out. Definitely looking at how we can make that work. Mr. Dawson and I work together several times when I was with the Florida Sports Foundation. We were able to create a great relationship. We're super excited to have that event here in Florida. It's been in New Orleans for quite some times, and for it to come back to Florida. And Mr. Dawson is my guy, so I've got to try and figure out a way to make it happen if we can, for sure.
All right. AD Suggs, I want to let you know you have a great group of coaches, an outstanding group of student athletes, and man, it is a pleasure to always be able to talk to them. Because I'm sure just like you, we hear a lot of Rattler Nation with questions, and so whenever we get shows like this where we can talk basketball, baseball, track, the stuff going on with the administrative things that go on with what you do in basket and football, it's a real pleasure. It's an honor to be able to bring all of this information and all these amazing people that you get to work with to Rattler Nation. So I want to give you the last word, however you want to use it, to let Rattler Nation to know what they need to do next and where they need to go to do it and see it.
Thank you so much, Bryan. And before I close things out, if you all have seen me squinting in my family, they know. So I am farsighted. So I'm on a phone and the phone is near. And so usually I have the phone way out here so that I can see. And so that's where the squinting is coming from. But I am always excited to come on and share with you all. Thank you for the opportunity. Thank you, Rattler Nation, to everyone that is on the call. Thank you, HBCU Nation. Thank you, the Fan Nation, because I know that there are others that are on here. And some of the things that we share, right, we have in common. And so while we brag about the things that we have going on, some of the things that we're talking about impact everyone across the diaspora of HBCU, Division I, FCS, Division II, HBCU landscape as it relates to intercollegiate athletics. As this thing changes, we are a community that will have to lock arms to be able to do this together. I'm honored to serve. This definitely is not a sprint. It's something that we have to do. You know, the good definitely outweighs any type of challenges that we have, and we just want to say thank you. So thank you for what you've done, what you're doing right now, and definitely for what you're going to do. We look forward to seeing you tomorrow night. We look forward to an exciting announcement at halftime, seeing you this weekend, and seeing you in the near future. Thank you so much, and fangs up.
Amen. Fangs up. Thank you. Thank you for everything, and safe travels back home. Be well.
Yes.
All right.
Definitely.
All right. Take care.
All righty. Thanks, guys. All righty.
Bye-bye. Ladies and gentlemen, none other than our 19th athletic director, VP of Intercollegiate Athletics. This is Angela Suggs. Wow. Woo. Man. Yeah, exactly. Right.
That's a bad lady there.
Telling you, man, gets it done. Gets it done. I heard somebody say that's what it's supposed to look. I heard somebody say that's what it's supposed to look like. Yeah. I want to hit some of the questions. Some of y'all are wild. Y'all are.
Do you really want to? Yeah. We don't want to hit some of them questions.
No, I do want to. One question I saw on here. StrikeZone had a great comment, and I wanted to address it for a minute. Okay. So I agree with you. What I tried to do, and if you follow our YouTube page at ONG StrikeZone, I usually will take a lot of the interviews that we do and cut them up individually into individual segments. Now, I will share not only as a teacher, a coach, it's hard finding time to do all of that. So, I put this out.
And Kelvin is not much help on that technical side. I work and get the guests.
Like all right.
and do the script
like that. Yeah.
Hey, it is what it is.
It is what it is. So I do try. So Strikeadocious, I am working to find time to splice up all of these different clips. Even like last week we had 3 guests. I still have to clip those and get them. And it's not so easy. We end up doing these 2-3 hour shows. I can't even call it 2 anymore. But it's hard to just clip those because the algorithms usually are targeted to 2. So you have to specifically go in and do the clipping. So as I work to try to get more help, whether it be interns or additional help, we're working on it, but we will. I would tell you to make sure you're following at ONG StrikeZone on YouTube, and turn the notifications on so that when I do clip these, I do make a point of posting them. A lot of times I'll rerun them on our Twitter feed at ONG StrikeZone. We'll run them sometimes on Facebook. So yeah, we're working. Trying to get you there. Okay. But thank you for the comments, though. Thank you for the comments. Just coming back to a few other things, Kelvin, that I saw some people ask, and I think we can answer. We don't necessarily need to bother AD Suggs about them. Let me see. Those are baseball related. Baseball. Okay. We are working on a roundup show. Yes, we are. We are in the works to talk with Things Up Podcast with Keith, working possibly with the Ashley and the Fame Exchange people. As I guess we will know the schedule tomorrow, and I don't know, man. We just got to figure out what day in the next day or two we want to do a breakdown of the schedule. Here's some things that I took away from what AD Suggs did share with us. Obviously, we do know the Orange Blossom Classic, August 30th. I can tell you that the game, somebody had asked me about where the game will be broadcast. So it is most likely going to be broadcast on either ESPN2 or ESPNU. I feel pretty confident in my source that shared that information with me. Now, what that means, though, the other part about that AD Suggs shared is that it's TV based. And I will tell you that the game on Sunday between Notre Dame and Miami is a 7:30 game. So I would imagine, even as beautiful as that field is in South Florida, you probably are going to need a 24-hour window with it. I would be shocked and surprised if that game were played anytime after 6 o'clock. I don't know. No one's shared with me a time, but I would guess that ESPN would probably want to air that in the 3:30, 4 o'clock window.
What I will tell you, though, you probably right, but what I would tell you, as someone who's worked at a stadium and facility,
okay,
they're used to having a college game and a pro game.
Oh,
so
that's right.
They have an overnight crew,
okay,
that can flip the field. So
so a 6 o'clock start is maybe not impossible. A 6 or 7 o'clock start is not impossible.
It's not impossible. But like you, I think they probably will try to push it earlier. But no, but it wouldn't be out of the ordinary. I'll put it that way.
Right. Okay. Good stuff. She also shared with us, AD Suggs, that we will have 5 home games in Tallahassee this year. Now, we can do our own guesstimation on those 5 games. What we do
we know the conference game.
We do know the conference games. Jackson State, Alcorn State, Alabama State, It's 3.
Mm-hmm.
Who else do we have?
The West team. No, the West
UAPB.
team.
But that's Alcorn.
No.
We traveled to Southern.
Yeah, because the Classic is our home game with BCU. So that would be the 4th East team, right?
Who are we missing? Southern. I'm missing somebody. Come on, help me out.
No,
here.
we travel to Southern. Alcorn is coming to us.
Alcorn is coming to us. Yes, Jackson State's coming to us. Alabama State is coming to us.
We play UAPB.
Right. Where is it? Home or away?
I think that's away.
You think it's away? Okay.
Yeah.
We do know we have Albany State at home. So there's the 4th game. We're just trying to figure out the 5th game. Now, remember, we did have those.
I mean, there was, I'll put it this way. There was a coach who, 3 weeks ago had, in the MEAC that had, and it wasn't Howard.
Yes. That
had our name in his mouth. So
he did. Johnny Thornton, good to see you coming in. Yes. And so that may be the 5th game. Well, it would make sense because if you count 4 SWAC games, she told us that we are the home team for the Florida Classic. So that technically is the 4th SWAC home game. So there you go. So that means we would have 2 non-conference home games, 3 SWAC home games. Okay. If you listen to our show on Sunday with Charles Edmonds, I told him he needed to make his reservations for Tallahassee before they sold out, because my unofficial presumption based on the schedule is that I think October 18th against Alcorn State will be homecoming. And here's why. It fits because Florida State is not playing a game that weekend, right?
We're not in Tallahassee anyway.
Right. They're not in Tallahassee. Right. So that opens the door there. And I don't think you'd want to play Alabama State for homecoming. I definitely don't want to play Jackson State for homecoming. Those games are going to be sold out anyway.
And Florida State plays at home. And Florida State plays at home both of those dates too.
Yeah. And Alcorn does travel. As Charles told me, they haven't been in Tallahassee since the 80s. I think it's been almost 40 years since Alcorn has been to Tallahassee. And so he seems to think that there'll be a lot of Brave Nation that'll want to travel to that game. So
we will see. There is a possibility that our presumption would be wrong.
Yes, it could be wrong. It could be wrong.
But that is the probably the most reasonable option.
I'm seeing a couple people think that the game, Mary 305 thinks that the game will be at 2. I'm assuming y'all are talking about the OBC. Rick thinks it'll be a noon game. Okay. Interesting. Again, if you're not in the house, if you can get to the Lawson Center, of course, we want you to go support the women. You need to be there, but the schedule will drop at halftime of the women's basketball game. Most likely, that's what it sounds like. So be prepared for that and be in the house. What do you say, Johnny? Johnny says, see, Johnny knows. Johnny, he's connected to the school in North Carolina. I know if anybody knows, he knows. He's ready to come down.
Yeah, they got about 3 or 4 coaches they got to replace there too.
Oh yeah, yeah. We plucked them right out their tree. You know,
we ain't the only ones.
We're not the only ones. Exactly.
Oh,
yeah, yeah. But we're looking forward to it. Looking forward to having you in T-Town, Johnny. Can't wait till you come. Should be an exciting schedule. All right, a couple other questions. SLAT 25. Yes, the SWAC did eliminate divisions in baseball. So it is an open field where everybody plays. You play 10 opponents. Obviously, there are 11 opponents. So you play 10 of the 11, and it'll be a rotating one-off. So this year, FAMU plays everybody in the SWAC. FAMU baseball plays everybody in the SWAC except Southern University in a 3-game series. We will, however, get a chance to play Southern in the Andre Dawson Classic, which will be in Vero Beach the weekend of, I had the graphic. Yeah, there you go. The weekend of February 21st to the 23rd. Okay, so that's when FAMU will. All right. This is a question that I think would be great to talk to. I think something like this could happen. I mean, you look at the OBC, the folks at the OBC are smart enough to do some great marketing, and that they'll find a sponsor. So this is a great idea, JT. I didn't want to bother AD Suggs with that, but that's a great question. I think something that the Orange Blossom Classic will do. This is a question. This is interesting, Kelvin, from Lil Baby. And I have my thoughts as to why I don't think this would happen. And I'm saying you all, but I'm assuming, will FAMU ever consider making the OBC a rotating game around the state minus Orlando? I will tell you that the Orange Blossom Classic hosted it's in Miami Gardens. That community, Orange Blossom Classic has. Am I mistaken in this, Kelvin? Hasn't it always been affiliated with the city of Miami? Has it ever moved outside of the city area of Miami?
No. It's been played in Jacksonville and other locations before.
Okay. Well, I think obviously for this period of 5 years, I think the fact that you have a strong community municipality tie-in with Miami Gardens, I think you'd have to have somebody from Jacksonville or I don't think FAMU or the organizers of the OBC will look to go outside. Now, if another city came to them, anything's possible. But I
think the key to what you're getting at, you got to remember, this is a partnership. There's a entity that owns the OBC, and that entity and its partners and relationships are with the city of Miami Gardens and in the South Florida area. So the OBC is probably rooted in, and of course, it's been a home by far of the Orange Blossom Classic historically for a long period of time. It's only been in a couple of other cities a few times. So it's in short, we don't own the game. We're a partner in the game. So it is what it is.
Now, let me throw this little nugget. Jimmy Matt, you throw something really interesting out. The fact that we know down in South Florida on Sunday, you have what happening? The Notre Dame Miami game. And you have the OBC. It would be pretty dope if College Game Day were in South Florida before the FAMU Howard game, and they would stay there because they would end up doing the show the next night before the Miami Notre Dame game. There's an interesting nugget there, Jimmy. Love that you threw that out.
You know it. There's a lot of big games that weekend because looking at the college schedule, they set it up for a lot of rivalry games the first week.
Yeah.
So I don't know if I imagine though the Notre Dame Miami game is probably the biggest because of the historical nature of the two fan bases and schools, and they don't like each other. They coming off really good seasons, so it's probably a likely candidate. But there are some top matchups that week also, so it's no guarantee that they are going to be in Miami. But if they are, it makes a lot of sense.
It does, doesn't it? It does. It does make a lot of sense.
I'm sure since ESPN is a partner in the media side of this, if it's a possibility, I'm sure the owners of the event as well as the universities will seek every opportunity. We a chance to put the brand out nationally, televised. Yeah.
Let's see. Let me see. I got another question here. I'll let you kind of answer that. I was in the middle of. I thought you might be able to answer this one. JT had asked about some. You may have some insight into some infrastructure and facility upgrades that are happening. I saw someone mention or ask about Gaither Gym. I don't know. Can you share anything on that, or what do you got any info or intel you'd like to talk about?
Well, yeah, I can. The roof has been repaired or replaced, and the flooring is almost complete, and it will probably be finished early March. However, that does not include, some of the other things. I know the question is centered around, are we going to have events there? Well, there's still some other things like PA system, scoreboard system, digital, some infrastructure things that will still be needed, along with identifying locker rooms and spaces for the refs and the visiting teams and so forth. So there's still some ways to go. But in terms of Gaither itself, the court as well as the roof itself will be finished, and it'll be available, which is almost as valuable for the basketball and volleyball. Coach mentioned about the odd times because they can't have access to Lawson because of teaching classes that go between 9 and 3. So that will give them a venue to do some more traditional practice times and have access for the athletic department. So yeah, that's the deal with Gaither.
Did any of the upgrades or adjustments ever happen over on the softball? Is everything all done from the softball and baseball fields that needed to be completed, especially after the storms and things of that nature?
I mean, the fields are available and everything. Yeah, I think softball did get some enhancements with their batting cage area. New covering and maybe some new equipment. I'm not sure on the equipment side, but I know that they got some new things, and I think coach is just working with what he has as they try to build a bigger vision with some resources to address the facility as entire. That's gonna be a expensive venture. For instance, just the turf field is $1.2 million, $1.5 million probably right now. So that's more of a longer targeted project.
All right. Let's see. We've talked about the feedback on the basketball floor plan, right? What do you like? What are you hearing from alums regarding the layout at the arena?
Which at Lawson?
At Lawson, yeah.
I mean, I guess what is the question about it?
Well, I don't know. Edwin was asking about on the new basketball floor plan layout. I don't know.
I think Edwin is responding to the premium seating area.
Yes, that's what I was wondering. Yeah, I mean,
yeah.
Well, I mean, yeah.
People like it. There are people who are wine and cheese who like to be catered to, and they'll pay for that experience. So it's actually going well from what I can see. That's the AD Suggs probably at the end of the year to see how much financially but it's always well attended. Pretty field down there, and I know some of the folks who sit with me. I'm not a North End Zone club type person, so I wouldn't go. I just, that ain't my thing. I'm going there to as Coach Crarey said, I like to watch the game, be with the people, and hear the commentary. But yeah, there's folks who sit with us who go and do that. So they love it. They're very complimentary of it. I heard nothing but positive things.
Kenya asked if athletics is able to take on debt to finance the turf field.
I'm not in a position to answer that. I let the AD do her job and the university.
Ask that one. Oh, go ahead.
Because the key to that is that particular question about depth and P3s and all that. That's bigger than the athletics. That's a university decision and effort. So,
all right. Appreciate. Let's see. Man, this is a great one, Jay Brown. I didn't want to ask it because it really, I didn't want to pivot off of sort of the topics that we were on, but I'm right there with you, man. I don't know enough about how the merchandise is handled in the bookstore. So yeah, I don't know. Kelvin, any thoughts there?
The bookstore does have a pretty good selection of
even online. It's not bad. It's not bad. No,
they have licensed and branded stuff. Now, if you're talking about the things, the teams where there's some contractual things where things are team issued only, they're not meant or made for retail, and if it becomes available for retail, usually it's like some clause where it's a couple of years later. So if you want to dress like the team, that for the most part, that's not going to happen. And
I wish it could. We keep, man, that's a miss. I think that's a miss. That's a miss.
Well, you can have stuff. It just won't be exactly. And it's contractual. You don't really see that with pretty much any deal. You can have things that look like it, but
see, this big. Yeah. You don't think at the college level, those same polos, some of those, and again, we're juxtaposing this against what we see from P5, P4s, however you want to categorize it. But yes, those same coaches polos that you see.
Let me say this, and this is a point for education.
Okay.
Power 4 and NFL teams contracts are big, and they're catered to. FCS schools and smaller, they are priority 2 at best, usually priority 3, which means they don't get the same perks. And I ain't just talking about financially. I'm just talking about ordering a basic thing for your team issued stuff. There's a lot of delays. That whole merchandising thing, and I'm talking the big dogs. It ain't as simple as the average fan may think. Yeah, you see it at the Power 4 level and the NFL level. We don't have them kind of contracts or that kind of priority, though. In short.
Well said. Well said. Russell Hayes asked, will FAMU be coming to Orangeburg? I do not believe we are coming to Orangeburg this year.
No,
I thought that game got moved to next year.
It has been moved, and it was moved because South Carolina State entered a contract with one of those
South Carolina. Actually, I think it was USC.
Yes,
yeah, it was USC.
Yeah, it was one of the the FBS schools up there. So correct.
Yeah. All right. I know I had a question. I didn't ask this, but I know I had someone ask me. Obviously, with us playing in the OBC on August 30th, originally we were supposed to play South Alabama at their place. And I think the question that I saw asked to me was either what it took to get out of that, or did we have to pay money to get out of that, or did,
I don't have any specific information, but I can answer that in general.
Mm-hmm.
Typically, when you get out of contractual deals, one of a couple of ways. Either you just move it to a agreed upon date later on in another year. You work with the team to get a replacement for you. And then generally speaking, even with that, there's some kind of penalty cost. So unless you just moving the game to another year and you're still going to play it, typically there's going to be some cost to it, and some ways of offsetting that cost. Say you're getting paid $300,000 for a game that doesn't include expenses, and you get a game for $500,000 with expenses included. So you profit $200,000. So if you have to pay $30,000 to get out of a game, you still $170 up. So those are just some strategies that are available to administrators in terms of getting out of those guaranteed contractual games with FBS schools. And sometimes it's rare, but sometimes they'll let you go and they'll just find somebody, but fans use a brand and they draw. So we may not get that treatment. they know our fans in some ways coming.
I can't read Johnny on this one. So Johnny says, is there a possibility the Eagles will fly into Bragg on October 11th? I don't know anything. Johnny, you the last person that don't know anything.
Well,
I don't know how to read
I
this.
get what he's doing.
I
get it.
I do too. That's why I just put that out there.
Yeah.
We'll just kind of appreciate you, Johnny, man. Thanks for being a JBN subscriber. Thanks to everybody who's a JBN subscriber, man. Thank you all for joining and becoming a member. And those of you who are watching us on the JBN YouTube channel, you can go ahead and join and help support the Black College Sports Network, the ONG Strike Zone, and all of our shows here. We definitely appreciate you guys, supporting the show. Wrong button. Okay. I think I hit everything. Do you see Rick? You want me to put Rick's thing up there? Do you see Rick Cotton? Rick Cotton trying to break a little news. Trying to break a little news here.
Okay. I don't know anything about that right now.
Interesting. That's interesting. Okay. We'll just leave it at that. Alice asked, how about bringing back the Atlanta Classic? Okay. I feel like we got to have this conversation like every year. To my understanding, and I don't know if I don't know which entity it is, so I don't want to just throw a name out there and just kind of say it, but I know that contractually, I've been told that there cannot be a SWAC or MEAC team playing in the Atlanta market 30 days after the MEAC SWAC challenge or 30 days before the Celebration Bowl. So what that would mean, Alice, is if someone wanted to play in Atlanta, it would probably have to happen in the month of October, in mid-October.
Or the last September, because remember the MEAC SWAC challenge moved to week 0.
Correct.
So it's typically the third or fourth. If it's 5 Saturdays, then it's the 4th Saturday. If it's 4 Saturdays, it's the 3rd Saturday in August. So the 30-day winter will be up the last Saturday in September. But yes, and generally speaking, that's correct.
Right. And so I have thought this. This is what I have thought. This is me when I was talking to somebody about this. The 2 schools that would make the most sense if this were to happen. Now, they'd have to find a partner to manage the game probably, right? But to me, looking at our schedule, who's the team that we play every year on our schedule? Cross division.
I know what you're talking about. I'm trying not to say it.
Right.
Because
we
that's
already
a home
it's a home and home. And so we already have a good history playing that school in Atlanta, right? A lot of y'all enjoyed going to Atlanta back in the day against them. But it would be a home and home that each school would probably have to give up. Now,
don't
the
have
pros
to.
and cons of doing that.
Let me just add my little 2 cents real quick.
Yeah.
People always look at that spectrum. The one I've always tried to bring up when we play these what if games is we play money games, guarantee games against FBS schools, and those contracts for FAMU run anywhere from 300,000 to 700,000, which is rare. Generally, it falls in the 300,000 range, unless we, playing Oklahoma, one of Georgia, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And so, if you tell me you're replacing that game with Atlanta Classic, that's another option that may be more attractive. Instead of playing the beatdown games, you play a Tennessee State and so forth. But also, you gotta understand, classics. A lot of classes aren't successful.
Yeah.
SWAC just happened to own all the successful classes pretty much. That the longest running ones anyway that's been consistent. If you look at the ones that used to be in Cincinnati and these other markets, and I know that Grambling and them going to Vegas for one this year, but a lot of those classes are hit and miss. And the schools don't own those. So, you're talking about going to Atlanta market, but what you need is the Atlanta Sports Commission or the Georgia Sports Commission and other partners coming to the table saying they want to do this, and you have buy-in and some money on the table, because classics are very expensive endeavors.
Yeah.
Just the facilities and staffing and bringing the 2 teams is at pro stadiums as well, $1 million up.
Yeah, and I think what made them work when they were in their heyday there is you have the community buy-in, but 2, it's a travel destination. There has to be a right mix of, and I don't know what that mix is. Like, I'd be curious to know, like, when you think of the Bayou or the Florida Classic or whatever we consider the top 3 or 4, like, what is the percentage of local fans and traveling fans? Because if you have a 50, 60,000 seat stadium, I got to imagine, Kelvin, that you probably are wanting, I don't know, a 70-30 traveling contingency, like 70% of the fans would be traveling. 50 to 70%.
Well, well, where reality is, you kind of know depending on who you invite. Now, if you Power Four and like what they doing with Notre Dame, Miami, you're expecting a full house and you staff it accordingly. When you talk about, lower level classics that aren't traditional classics or haven't been around as long, don't have the history, there's a break even point and a difference depending on some markets. Because, like, for instance, New York, LA markets are a lot more expensive than some of the southern markets can be.
Mm-hmm.
And it depends the venue, whether you trying to get a pro venue, or so it's a lot of things that go into the formula. But just in general, I think a lot of the classic folks look at break even in most cases is 50% capacity.
Right.
When all is said and done, because you can close upper levels and there's ways you can offset the cost with events, so it don't have to be based on a sellout.
Right. Last question here. Keith asks, do we think UF will drop FAMU? When are we slated to play UF? Do you know?
I'm trying to think. I know we were on the schedule. I don't think we were dropped. I think that was a game that's being moved to a later year. But that's a question that the AD or the VP would be able to share for sure. But we were scheduled to play them, and I think it was, if I remember correctly, it was moved to a later year.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I just happened to look on FBS schedules, and I'm looking at future Florida non-conference opponents. I don't see us on them at all. And of course, Florida's the kind of school that they're scheduling out 10 years. But obviously, all the non-conferences aren't filled, though. So
that part, and then also the landscape with the college football playoffs being introduced, and the Power 5 look like it's going to Power 4, and maybe group autonomy. So who knows? Those teams may be wanting to buy us out and get out the game moving forward.
Yeah. Anything related to Jacksonville? I saw Tony post this. Yeah, anything related to Jacksonville? Don't forget they're about to do reconstruct or some renovations on that stadium for the next 2 seasons. Or even the Jaguars are thinking about moving, or they're going to have to look at playing at alternate sites.
Yeah, I think for the 2026, they're
6 and 7, 26 and
7 season. Right.
Yeah.
Yes.
So they're even moving the Florida Georgia game to a home and home, which I got a feeling once they do that, they may never get it back. Jacksonville may have to come with a lot of money to get it back. I think
it's going to be interesting to see what happened with that game, only because they were both getting money every year.
Yeah.
Is the trade-off, do they feel like the trade-off is better with them playing it as a home after it being a neutral site for so long? And how the fans going to respond to it, to be honest.
Yeah. Okay. As we get ready to close the show, we got to give a shout out to the Prime Performer of the Week from the SWAC, none other than Milton Matthews. Had a great weekend in Mississippi, averaged 16.5 points a game, 4.5 rebounds, 2 assists, 2 steals per game. I mean, when you talk about that second half run where he and Sterling just started lighting up the scoreboard, unbelievable performance against Alcorn. And then, of course, big shot maker against Jackson State as well. We closed that game on a 9-0 run. I didn't even get a chance to mention that to Coach Crarey. Obviously, he knows that, but we closed that game on a 9-0 run. I mean, just an outstanding performance by those guys. So I want to give him his some props for that. Again, just in case you didn't know, the men's standings, men's basketball standings, there we are sitting right there in fourth place. Again, the SWAC basketball tournament seeds the top 10 teams, where teams 7 through 10 would play in an opening round matchup, 7 versus 10, which right now is
way too early to go in a scenario.
Well, yeah, it's too early because you got 4. You have 1, 2, 3. You have 4 teams sitting at 4 and 3, and so that's anywhere from 4 to 7.
And then 2 more. That's 3 and 4. So,
right.
Yeah.
Here's what we can surmise, though, Kelvin. Guess who won't be going to the tournament? If
Pine Bluff Valley.
Yeah, the way it's shaking out.
Fishing. They going fishing.
Yeah. And then next year, well, they're going fishing this year, but next year those teams will have to go to the tournament because the SWAC basketball tournament will turn into a everybody gets an invite tournament next year. Our women, they didn't have quite the success. They were competitive and actually winning both ball games, if I'm not mistaken. At one point,
at points,
at various points, they were leading. They lost by 11 to Jackson State, but I think they had I was trying to pull up. I think that game was tied, or they had a lead at the end of the third quarter. So I mean, they were there. They were in the running, and then Alcorn was a game that they had a lead, lost the lead, somehow hit a shot. That Maya Griffin hit a 3-pointer at the top of the key to send it to overtime.
She was hot.
And then the craziest thing, in overtime,
all free throws.
Alcorn beats us 12 free throws, not one field goal, all free throws. Maddening, horrible way to lose.
And we had a couple of people to foul out. Our leading scorer fouled out, and then in overtime, Subarats fouled out.
Yeah. And we still haven't. Obviously, another game where we didn't have Purifoy, didn't have Delancey. Was anyone else hurt in that contest? Or not? I should say not available, because I mean we don't know if they're hurt or not. We just not available.
Right.
But
didn't Hendricks? I don't think Hendricks played least in Jackson. I don't think
Hendricks might not have been available either.
Right.
So
yeah, that's a lot.
And just like the men's, I think what we've seen is Coach Gordon as well as Coach Crarey, they recruited well. They recruited some good depth. But man, if you can have all the pieces there, what this team would look like with all the pieces, because
that's what's missing. Yeah.
When you lose these games by a bucket or two, or you have these spurts where you can't hold on to a lead, you end up thinking, man, if we just had our full roster available, if we had our health, what would this team really look like? But that's why you recruit, and that's why you try to bring in 10 good players, 11, 12 good players, so that if you lose 2 or 3, your hope is that the replacements can step up, and you hope you don't lose a key player in that top 3. And I think the one they might be missing the most is Purifoy. My analysis from what little we did see of her earlier in the season.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. For the women, the standings right now in the SWAC, we're sitting in the 6th, tied for 6th, with Bethune, who we beat, and Alcorn, who we lost to. Oh, and Alabama State, who we play tomorrow night. So that's a big game.
Got to defend. Yeah. We still undefeated at home, right? The women.
I believe so.
No, we lost to Howard. We did lose. We lost the first
game.
Well,
since Howard, we've lost to somebody else.
We're
5-2. We lost to somebody else at home. Who do we lose to at home? I don't know. They got us at 5-2. We must have lost to somebody else. In the SWAC, we're unbeaten. Oh, we lost to Middle Tennessee State at home. Middle Tennessee at home.
Oh, yeah.
That's what it was. But in the SWAC, we're unbeaten at home. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, all right. Wow, what a show, man! I think we covered it all. I don't think we left anything off. Again, want to encourage everybody. Oh, the last little nugget from that. This being the 100th year of the Florida Classic. 100th Florida Classic. So that'll be a big celebration. The 100 at the 100th Florida Classic. I can already hear how that's going to sound. That's going to be pretty cool. So get your all-time Florida Classic team ready. FAMU and Bethune all-time. We need to talk to a couple of BCU people and see if we can start putting together a list. Partner up with a couple people. I don't know. Start thinking about it. But it'll be fun to kind of talk about the history of that over the course of this season as the 100th year of the Florida Classic. And we are the home team. We are the home team. So a heavy schedule, man. That means 5 at Bragg, 1 in South Florida, 1 in Orlando. That's 7.
Maybe 2 in South Florida.
Ooh, maybe 2. Ooh. A heavy schedule in the state of Florida this year for Florida A&M, possibly. I can't wait for the schedule drop. Will be fun. Will be fun to watch. Again, it will get released after the game. So if you're unable to catch it live on Rattlers Plus, or if you're not in attendance, but of course we want to encourage you to be in the Lawson Center for the games. That would be lovely. Please be there and support our women. Support both teams on Saturday, and then support the men on Monday. All right. We are 10 days away from the start of the softball season, by the way, just in case you wondered. We'll be working on getting Coach Beal on the show next week. Yep. Next week, we'll talk to Coach Beal about softball next week. That's one of our big objectives, and hopefully maybe even get somebody. Maybe whether it be Coach Gordon, or maybe we can get we've got to try to get one of the FAMU men's basketball players in. I know we had Cheyenne on a week ago. Maybe we can work on getting one of the guys on next week.
We got football recruiting high school. The
right.
regulars coming up too.
Is signing day next Wednesday? Yeah, I think it is. Yeah. Signing day's next. All right. So all right. All right. So hey, be on the lookout. I'm gonna tell you guys now. Be on the lookout. We're gonna do a schedule show where once the schedule comes out, we'll get a chance to really break it down. We talked Things Up podcast. Keith, I know Keith is still up. Shout out to you, Keith, still up. And we'll start working on putting together a schedule release or schedule recap reaction to the 2025 football schedule. All right.
It's going to be good.
It's time to go. Yeah, it's going to be good, man. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in and watching the show. We'll work on getting the clips. You can always catch the clips on @ONG StrikeZone on YouTube. Make sure to go show some love to Coach Crarey.
Yep.
Coach G, Coach Shouppe, AD Suggs. Let them know you appreciate them coming on the show. It helps them know that it's worth their time to come on our show and talk to us and let you guys know what's happening with FAMU athletics and their program. So
what you can't say is that when you watch the ONG, you don't get breaking news.
that you definitely cannot say. All right. Thank you, everybody, for watching the show. For Marcus Green, who hopefully will be back. He was out on assignment today. Hopefully he'll be back next week. I know it's recruiting day, so we got to have Marcus. I don't know. I'm looking for Marcus, but we'll see Marcus. For Kelvin Rozier, I'm Bryan Fulford. Thank you, family, Rattler Nation, and the HBCU family as well for watching the show. Thanks up. Have a great week, and let's get ready to see what the 2025 football schedule looks like in less than 24 hours. Good night now.